to be bringing this one back. Holding the initial indication against the against the Saskatchewan Roughriders, and that's been the tale for both these teams this year.
Saskatchewan.
And so Tom Burgess and company, instead of starting at the Ottawa 53-yard line, will start at their own 7. Tonight's starting lineups brought to you by Speedy Auto Glass. Don't take a chance. Take your auto glass repair and replacement needs to Speedy Auto Glass. Tom Burgess gets the start. He was replaced last week by Warren Jones, and Jones is warm and ready to go if Saskatchewan gets off to a rough start. And the Riders start right from the shotgun formation on first down. It's Burgess to the sideline, looking there for Don Narcisse. The pass falls incomplete. Brings up 2nd and 10 for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Burgess has Sean Daniels and Mike Saunders, who leads the league in carries. Along with him in the backfield, the receivers, Larry Thompson, Farthing Elgard, and Don Narcisse, who looks to extend his consecutive game streak to 116.
And protecting Burgess tonight, the rookie Chris Burns, Scott Hendrickson, the 11-year veteran Mike Anderson, Michael Lammy, and the big 300-pounder Dan Payne.
And they'll get a test here at 2nd and 10 for Saskatchewan. Burgess is back to the shotgun. 3 receivers to the top of your screen, and Burgess to throw quickly to the sideline. Thompson stumbled for a moment, and the ball is batted away at the last second. Coverage provided by corner Patrick Burke, so it's 2 and out for the Saskatchewan Roughriders, and Jamie's slow starts are a familiar story in Saskatchewan.
Saskatchewan this year has only managed to score 7 points in the first quarter, and that's really been their nemesis all year. Tom Burgess in the shotgun. They try to give a semi-roll here to Burgess, trying to isolate Larry Thompson against Patrick Burke. Looked like Larry Thompson had a step, but take a look at the hit.
Jumping in was linebacker Alfred Smith to put the hit on Tom Burgess. So Brent Manich, who is 2nd in the league in average yards per punt, will kick from his own goal line. Fred Ward and Nick Mazzoli are back to receive for the Ottawa Roughriders, who should get great field position for their first possession. And it's not a very good punt from Manich. It might have been tipped at the line, and this is Mazzoli. Flags are down, and so is Mazzoli at the Saskatchewan 36-yard line. Just a 26-yard punt, and you can bet that there'll be no yards tacked on to the end of this. And so the Ottawa Roughriders and Markel Fleetwood should have great field position the first time they touch the football.
Good heads-up play by Nick Mazzoli to come in there and make sure that ball did not bounce and draw the 15-yard, no yards penalty.
And Dave Beal makes the indication that no yards is indeed the call against the Saskatchewan Roughriders. We don't much like the call, but here's Markel Fleetwood, who has attempted only 20 passes in his CFL career, 15 of them this season. So it's a net of 11 yards on the Manich punt. 1st and 10, Ottawa from the Saskatchewan 25. And Fleetwood gives the ball off to the new running back, Joe Campbell from Middle Tennessee State, and the rotating door continues to spin for the Ottawa Roughriders. With the injury to Michael Richardson, Campbell is the 3rd tailback they've tried. He's joined by Darren Joseph at fullback, who's used extensively as a pass receiver. And the guys who are paid to catch the ball, Ward, Climby returns, Nick Mazzoli, and Horace Brooks. Stephon Jones is at least a week away from returning.
Offensive line, Mike Graybill. Chris Gioscus back in the lineup. Eastern All-Star Irv Damon at center, Bruce Beaton, and big Jim Mills at right tackle.
Gain was 6 for Campbell. Make it 2nd and 4 for the Ottawa Roughriders. And there's early movement on the right side of the line. It looks like big Jim Mills plowed ahead. And that will be a call against the Ottawa Roughriders. Jim's indicating that he was drawn offside. yards, but Saskatchewan, despite Saunders' efforts, is ranked last in the league in rushing yards. Defensively for the Ottawa Roughriders, a three-man front with Leonard Johnson, Derek McCready, and John Kropke, the underrated defensive end for Ottawa. Benefield, Bonner, Smith, and the newcomer Jesse Small, who's having a terrific rookie season for Ottawa.
Patrick Burke, Corey Dowden, two newcomers, Andrew Thomas at safety and Brett Young at halfback, and the always dependable 12-year veteran Andre Francis at corner.
2nd and 4, Saskatchewan from its own 41, back to the ground to Mike Saunders, who's battling to get the first down. He gets to about the 43-yard line, but he needed the 45 for the first down. He'll be well short of that.
A little surprising that Saskatchewan's coming out running the ball as they are. They are dead last in the CFL in rushing per game. They're only averaging 80 yards per game.
Well, Saunders is ranked first in the league in carries, but has a 4.5-yard average per carry. Brent Maddich will come out to punt once more. The net on his last punt was 11 yards. He'll look for more than that. There is a fairly stiff breeze blowing in his face, and once again, Fred Ward and Nick Mazzoli are back to receive for the Ottawa Roughriders. Maddich from his own 30. The offense has gone 2 and out on its first 2 possessions for Saskatchewan, so the slow start rears its ugly head again. This is a much better kick by Maddich. Taken by Mazzoli up at the 33-yard line, and he's corralled quickly by Dave Van Bellingham, down quickly to make the tackle on special teams, the former Toronto Argonaut. And so the Ottawa Roughriders won't have quite the field position they had last time, and Markel Fleetwood and company will get something more of a test. Markel Fleetwood replaced Ricky Foggy as the quarterback at the University of Minnesota, and in fact broke all of Foggy's team passing records. But he's seen very limited action, and in fact there are those in Ottawa surprised that Don McPherson, who has more experience, wouldn't get the call ahead of him. But Adam Rita likes what he sees in this young man, especially his running ability. One of the best running young quarterbacks in the CFL. 1st and 10 from the 33-yard line. Fleetwood gives off to Campbell, who fights his way across the 35, close to the 40s, and the tackle made by Gary Lewis on the play. Joe Campbell takes over at tailback from Jerry Collins. Campbell from Middle Tennessee State had been to a couple of training camps and had been released.
And had only 1 carry coming into this game for -1 yard, so very inexperienced.
First thing he had to do was get himself into the positive figures in rushing, which he's done so far. Gain of 6 at 2nd and 4. And Fleetwood back to pass quickly, now decides to run it ahead close to the first down. He needed the 43-yard line. The tackle made by nose tackle Sean Brantley. And the defensive line for the Saskatchewan Roughriders, LeBrant Robinson, the former Ottawa Roughrider, Sean Brantley, and the veteran Gary Lewis. The linebacking core loses an important player, but gets one back. Dan Rashovich back at inside linebacker, taking the place of Ray Bernard, who has suffered a broken bone in his foot.
Albert Brown, Anthony Drawhorn, Glenn Suter. Dale Joseph was the 6th defensive back. He's in there at half, and Aaron Ruffin moves from halfback to corner.
Joe Campbell with the carry gets another 5 yards or so after Ottawa had recorded the first down of the game 5.5 minutes in.
And this is something that should help a young quarterback like Markel Fleetwood. Ottawa coming into this game are number 2 in the CFL in rushing per game, so he has a bit of a running game that he can go to try to take some pressure off of him having to drop back and throw the ball all the time.
The gain for Campbell was 5, who is now well into the positive figures, and the Ottawa Roughriders, who run the ball better than anyone in the Canadian Football League, have used their ground attack to their advantage on the slick turf here at Taylor Field. 2nd and 5 now. Ottawa from its own 47-yard line. Fleetwood under pressure, and down he goes as Dan Rashovich comes in to get the sack for the Saskatchewan Roughriders, who entered this game tied for the league lead with 21 sacks.
Well, they came after Markel Fleetwood with absolutely everything. They brought Glenn Suter as well from the safety spot. He lined up outside. But they're just overloading Ottawa right now. You can see all the offensive linemen are trying to take a look at who the responsibilities are. There comes Suter on the outside. Jurison, of course, forces him to step up right into number 74, Dan Rasovich, who's making his first start coming off of that broken leg.
He had a hairline fracture in his leg, which is not completely healed, but Ray Bernard has the broken foot, so he simply cannot play. And Rashovich is forced back into action. Terry Baker back to punt for the Ottawa Roughriders. This is Terrell Ulmer from the 10.
Terry Baker's punt down to
waiting for the box, gets a decent return out across to the 23-yard line. A 56-yard punt with the win by Baker, return of 13 yards. Brian Bonner down to make the stop. And Tom Burgess and the Saskatchewan defense come back out, hoping to get it going against the Ottawa Roughriders. Stadium in Hamilton. It's Baltimore on the Ticats at 7 Eastern, 4 o'clock Pacific. And look who showed up at Taylor Field. It's the world-famous chicken, none other than Ted Giannoulis, the native of London, Ontario. Why is it, Jamie, whenever I see him, I can't help but thinking of a big plate of wings?
Being off a big plate. Kind of tough, I think.
He'll try to get the crowd going, but a Saskatchewan first down would likely do a better job. 8:15 to play in the opening quarter. Tom Burgess and company have yet to gain 10 yards on the series. Burgess back to pass, going over the middle to Ray Elgard. The pass behind him, and broken up on the play by Brett Young.
We had a chance yesterday, Gord, to talk to Urban Bowman, the defensive coordinator for Ottawa, for some length, and he talks also about how he likes to come hard with all of his players. He wants to get to the quarterbacks. You see, it's all man coverage. They're trying to bring people. And very good coverage by Brett Young and Ray Elgard.
2nd and 10 for Saskatchewan, and we mentioned that Ray Yock may have a pretty short hook tonight. We could see Warren Jones pretty quickly if these struggles continue. Burgess under pressure, the ball comes loose, and they'll rule it an incomplete pass as he was in his throwing motion. The pressure provided by the man we talked about in our opening, David Benefield, who leads this team with 6 quarterback sacks.
David Benefield likes to line up on the wide side of the field, and he comes untouched. Oof. And, you know, that's one thing you have to do if you're an offense. You have to protect the quarterback's backside. You cannot allow a free shot like that to your quarterback. Sean Daniels was in there trying to block, helping out Chris Burns on John Kropke. But Daniels has to slide outside and take the backside linebacker when he's coming to the quarterback's blind side.
Tom Burgess is 0 for 4 passing in the game so far, and Brent Manich has been the busiest Saskatchewan Roughrider. This is third punt, very nearly blocked. A low driving kick taken by Mazzoli at midfield, and Mazzoli gets maybe a yard to the Saskatchewan 54. Tackle made by Bruce Boyko on special teams. A 34-yard kick, a return of 2, but again the Ottawa Roughriders will enjoy good field position.
97 Brooks Finlay.
One thing you talk about with the Ottawa Roughriders has been the story of this team really for the last couple of years, lack of finish. Ottawa, in fact, is not a bad offensive team. The Eastern Riders have the 2nd most plays from scrimmage in the league, but they lead the league in field goals, and that tells you that when they get down close, they can't punch it in. Terry Baker had 7 field goals in a loss to Edmonton earlier this year. 1st and 10 for the Eastern Riders from the Saskatchewan 54-yard line. They fake to Joe Campbell, a great fake. Here's Fleetwood running to the sidelines. There's one guy that didn't bite. It's linebacker Peter Miller, and he's the guy that sniffed that play out and snuffed it.
And that's Peter Miller's responsibility. He has primary contained if the quarterback shows to that side and does a nice job of running down Markel Fleetwood.
Loss of 4 yards on the play.
But Markel Fleetwood shows you he has great ball handling skills. Nice job right there. Everybody bites on Joe Campbell, then he gets outside, but again, Peter Miller does a nice job gaining leverage. Never allowing Fleetwood to get his body turned upfield in order to throw the ball.
The loss of 4 brings up 2nd and 14 for Ottawa. Back in its own territory at the 52. Fleetwood with the quick drop, looking for room to run. Doesn't find much. And the tackle's made by Sean Brantley. Early pressure from LeBrant Robinson on the play.
And I think that was quarterback draw all the way. I think Fleetwood wanted to take just a few steps back, just kind of see where the hole was and go after it, because he did catch Saskatchewan in a blitz. They were coming with people, and if he could have popped it through there, there would have been some big yards.
So Patrick Burke and the rest of the Ottawa defense will get set to go back to work. Terry Baker back to punt. With 6:10 to play in the opening quarter. 3-0 Ottawa leads on Baker's field goal. Flag is down. High driving kick that goes out of bounds. And we'll see what the flag is about. It was thrown as soon as Baker punted the ball. It's holding against the Ottawa Roughriders. Pretty decent kick, went out of bounds at the 16-yard line, a punt of 39 yards. And Ray Yock indicates he wants them to do it over again. He'd like to see his team get a return.
Absolutely. Field position right now has been in Ottawa's favor, so Ray's going to try and take every advantage he can get.
Adam Rita has a new hat. Hasn't had time to take the tag off yet. Well, you have to feel for Adam Reedy. You know, one of the things he talked about this year in Ottawa was he didn't want to see the revolving door that the Riders have had for so many years in the past, and then his team gets wiped out by injuries, and they've been forced to bring in new players every week. Here's Baker's second try at this punt. And again, it's rolling towards the sideline. This time it bounces back and takes a good hop to Terrell Ulmer. It goes up to the 36-yard line. Now there's a late flag, and this should be a late hit, I believe, against the Ottawa Roughriders. There was some activity near the Saskatchewan bench, and the flag came down late. And Terrell Ulmer a little shaken up as he had to sprint forward to grab that punt from Terry Baker.
Well, the ball stays in bounds, and everybody's encroached on that. But it looks like Ulmer actually picked the ball up when he was out of bounds, and there's the late hit that the official called.
Looks as though it might have been Leonard Johnson, number 95. And as a result, it's a net of 15 yards for Terry Baker.
And all of a sudden, field position favors Saskatchewan right now.
And the Riders moving into a pretty stiff breeze here at Taylor Field. Have it 1st and 10 from the Saskatchewan 51-yard line. Burgess from the shotgun. Looking for Elgard, and Elgard open, but it's picked off. Intercepted by Brett Young, who leaped up as that ball hung in the air for a moment. Second time that Tom Burgess has looked for Elgard, and the second time that Young has made a good defensive play, this time for his second interception of the season.
Well, it tells you a little bit about what Saskatchewan's game plan is. It's trying to go after Brett Young early. He hasn't played much this year, but a good move by Brett Young, makes that speed turn, then steps right in front. Great interception. Ottawa came right out and challenged all the Saskatchewan receivers. Are playing very tight man coverage. And you can get that kind of man coverage from people like Brett Young. You're going to have some great success on defense.
Tom Burgess 0 for 5 with an interception so far. A nightmare beginning for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Here's Joe Campbell on 1st down. And not much doing for Campbell. He's dragged down quickly by Dan Rashovich and LeBrant Robinson.
Thought it'd be interesting with Saskatchewan after they viewed that Winnipeg film from a week ago when Ottawa played. Winnipeg played very tight man coverage against Ottawa, and they had some real difficulties getting open. Jim Daly, the defensive coordinator with Saskatchewan, mixes it up a little bit more. He plays a little bit of zone, a little bit of man. I'm sure he's trying to force Fleetwood to try and make some decisions and try and read coverage.
Markel Fleetwood in the shotgun on 2nd and about 8. Nobody there as the intended receiver, Fred Ward, was very well covered by Albert Brown. You know, it's funny, earlier this year, the Ottawa Roughriders got beaten very badly by the BC Lions, and Adam Reedy said, didn't show them the film, but after the 46-1 loss last week, he said, we did show them film, we were pretty optimistic. And here is Warren Jones, who came in last week and was pretty impressive for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. He was 16 of 20 last week, and he's warming up on the Saskatchewan sideline. So as Ray Yock gone to the bullpen, we'll find out in a moment as Terry Baker is back to punt again for the Ottawa Roughriders. And Warren Jones reaching for the helmet. It appears that he will come into this offensive series for Saskatchewan. So Ray Yock gives Tom Burgess 3 offensive series, but he's seen enough. Terrell Ulmer with a seam. Gets across the 40 to about the 46-yard line. The punt of 41 yards, a return of 15, the tackle made by Mike Graybill.
And I think everybody in this city realized that this was a possibility of this happening. Warren Jones, after he came in last week, so we'll see him.
Warren Jones gets his first crack at the Saskatchewan offense tonight when we return to Taylor Field in Regina. In his career with the Edmonton Eskimos, has been a backup here in Saskatchewan, but gets his shot now. These are his numbers for this season, 22 of 32. Now remember, he was 16 of 20 last week, but that was largely in mop-up time against the Calgary Stampeders. His first pass, looking over the top to Larry Thompson, falls incomplete. There has not yet been a pass completed in this football game, and we've got 3:54 to play in the opening quarter. The crowd here hollering for pass interference.
Well, Larry Thompson saying that Patrick Burke was part of his uniform in this play here. Patrick Burke does a nice job, puts his hand in there and hits the ball. I think that's a good play by Patrick Burke. I don't think Larry Thompson has anything to really complain about, but nevertheless he will.
Boy, imagine what will happen when Saskatchewan completes a pass. The crowd will go nuts here at Taylor Field. Jones from the shotgun has Mike Saunders with him in the backfield. 3 receivers to the top of the screen. Going down low, looking to the sideline to Don Narcisse, and Andre Francis will get the flag for pass interference. They try it the other way, and Narcisse will be the beneficiary of a pass interference call against Andre Francis. And it'll be a first down for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. First down for the Western Riders.
Very tight coverage, but when Narcisse turns back to the quarterback, yeah, no question, had his right hand on his shoulder.
Now, we mentioned earlier that Don Narcisse looking for his 116th consecutive game with a pass reception. That doesn't count, even though it was pass interference against Andre Francis. But what really counts is that it's a first down for Saskatchewan at the Ottawa 50-yard line. Back to the ground they go. Mike Saunders off tackle for a couple. And the tackle was made on the play by Brian Bonner.
And Gord, I'll tell you how confident Ottawa right now are in their defense. They have Alfred Smith, the inside linebacker. He's covering Ray Elgard, one of the best ever one-on-one, and he's doing a very good job of that so far. So they have great confidence in their linebackers to be able to play man coverage, and they like to bring Benefield, of course. Brian Bonner.
Brian Bonner, who looks like Bo Jackson. In fact, they call him Bo. And he occasionally gets stopped at airports and asked for his autograph, and people are a little surprised when he's the wrong Bo. And flags are everywhere as there was a ton of early movement. Dan Payne, the right tackle, moved, as did a number of others. And it's so frustrating for two teams that are having problems getting going when they do things like that to themselves.
It really hurts you, because now you're looking at 2nd and 9. Now you're looking at 2nd and 14.
And 5-year veteran Dan Payne, the man who moved earlier.
5-yard penalty down repeated.
Left of your screen, number 57, moves a bit early, trying to really get outside to make sure that Leonard Johnson doesn't get in Warren Jones' face.
So as you mentioned, it's 2nd and 14 now from the Ottawa 54-yard line. Jones with lots of time, a strong arm, and a man open, and just out of the reach of Terrell Ulmer. Ulmer, who plays both defensive back and receiver for the Saskatchewan Roughriders, was open. Warren Jones threw him a strong pass, but a little too strong.
What's incredible, Brian Bonner was downfield almost 50 yards covering Terrell Ulmer. This is just, they're trying to isolate him on the backside here. Warren Jones shows he has the arm. Now, this is a catch that he has to make. These are tough catches, but this is what you get paid for. That's just off the fingertips, but you have to make those.
So after the first down, it's another punt for Brent Matic. Joe Campbell back there with Nick Mazzoli. And the snap goes over the head of Matic, who has to go all the way back to his 20 to get it, and he's got nowhere to go. And Matic does the smart thing, just eats the ball, and is brought down at the 28-yard line by Mark Scott. So the snap goes over Matic's head, and look out, Ottawa's got great field position again.
Just a bad snap goes sailing over Matic's head. Now, I thought actually when he was going back after the ball, I thought he might pick it up and try and run into the end zone and give up to.
Wayne Drinkwalter, the long snapper of the Saskatchewan Roughriders, powers one over the head of the punter. And so it's first down Ottawa at the Saskatchewan 28-yard line. Here's a handoff to Campbell, and he's stuffed in his tracks. Great play by Sean Brantley, the nose tackle, who jumped right into the Ottawa backfield and stuffed that running play before it could get going.
That's exactly the kind of play you expect from your nose tackle, and Sean Brantley at 6'1", 285 does a great job. Inside, keeps his ground, sheds the blocker.
Loss of a couple at 2nd and 12. Saskatchewan showing blitz. A drop off. Fleetwood has time. Again, trying that quarterback draw. Tripped over Mike Graybill. And LeBrant Robinson came over to finish him off. And Fleetwood got maybe 4, but not nearly enough for the first down. And we'll see Terry Baker in the field goal unit again. So we see the pattern continue for Ottawa, Jamie. A good opportunity after a special teams miscue by Saskatchewan. Unable to do anything with it.
But they can't finish it off. Nice job by Saskatchewan defense. They don't work up really hard on the field. You take a look at LeBrant Robinson, of course, gets cut, but now he gets back up, and he ends up making the play. Doesn't quit, comes back, makes the tackle.
So
nice hustle.
Terry Baker, who was good from 31, now tries from 34 yards out with the wind at his back. And Baker good again. His second straight with 23 seconds to go in the first quarter. Gives Ottawa a 6-0 lead over the Saskatchewan Roughriders, who averaged just 1 point in the first quarter so far this season. And look at this way, they're only a point below the average.
That has to be a real concern for Ray Yawk and his team, though, to get off of these slow starts. Now that the first quarter is really almost out of the way, this is when good things start to happen for them. But
how do you evaluate Markel Fleetwood's performance so far?
I think he's actually done all right, but it looks right now that he's looking kind of to run before he's looking to throw. Even though he really hasn't completed anything.
Warren Jones gets his second try back in the Saskatchewan offensive backfield from the shotgun on first down. He powers it out to the corner. There's Ray Elgard. They tried twice for Elgard. One was picked off, the other was broken up. This is caught, and Brett Young makes the tackle after a gain of 12.
Now it's a nice throw by Warren Jones. Really smoked it right on the money to Ray Elgard. And one of the best, again, their man coverage. Ray Elgard just goes down, nice cut.
Nothing like having the CFL's all-time leading receiver out there to help you get over the early jitters. Warren Jones, who set 15 school records at the University of Hawaii. First and 10 for Saskatchewan from its own 48-yard line. Should be the final play of the first quarter. Flags are down now. We'll check those out. Jones throws it to the open sideline. He was looking over there for Ray Elgard, but the pass falls incomplete, and we'll see what the penalty's all about. It's offside Ottawa, so we'll get a second try at it. We've got some lightning in the neighborhood. It's been a rough day for weather here in Regina, but not nearly as bad as it was for a preseason game against Sacramento this year, when the final 2.5 minutes had to be canceled because there was hail, lightning, power outages. Fans were building arcs to get home. And the rain starts here again in Regina. First and 5 for Saskatchewan now from its own 52-yard line. And barring a penalty, this will be the final play of the opening quarter. Early movement again, and again there are flags. Mike Saunders breaks through the line of scrimmage, has open field, and gets down to the 44-yard line. Finally brought down the play by the safety, Andrew Thomas. But not before Saunders picks up 15 yards. Offside again, the call against Ottawa. That will be declined, and the first quarter comes to a close on a positive note for the Saskatchewan Roughriders, who finally break through the Ottawa defense for a bit and are threatening to score. Back with more on the CFL Live from Regina in just a moment.
Saskatchewan offensive line, they're going to try and seal everybody in here, and then they're going to pull Hendrickson across, and he's going to kick out on David Benefield, taking advantage, and then they're going to run the ball in through here. And just take a look at that. They take advantage of Benefield working up the field. A nice block. Now you see the hole open up. Good footwork, actually, by Mike Saunders. Now he gets his balance and turns it up the field. I like that, too, as well. Doesn't try to run away, puts his shoulder down and tries to go through the defender.
Scott Hendrickson with the good block. His brother Craig appears to have stuck with the Buffalo Bills of the NFL. So lots of football to talk about in the Hendrickson family. Their dad, Lefty, played here for the Saskatchewan Roughriders for a number of years. First down for Saskatchewan. It's deepest foray into Ottawa territory at the 43-yard line. And again, Jones from the shotgun trying the screen pass to Saunders, who makes the one-handed catch and breaks down to about the 36-yard line. Tackle made in the play by David Benefield. And the numbers through the first 15 minutes, not mightily impressive. Just 12 yards passing for Saskatchewan, and Markel Fleetwood has not yet completed a pass. So net yards 20 for Ottawa, 8 for Saskatchewan. Terry Baker accounting for all of the scoring. Now, interesting to note, Jamie, that since Warren Jones came in, Saskatchewan has gone exclusively with a 5-receiver set. Mike Saunders is the only back in the backfield. And here's Saunders with the carry on second down. He'll be well short of the first down, stopped up at about the 36-yard line.
Good job by the Ottawa defense. They're trying to run trap inside, but they have all the gaps accounted for, and the linebackers read it so quickly.
Leonard Johnson in on the stop.
Very impressed with this Ottawa linebacking corps, Gord. You know, they run screen, they close on it so quickly. They're very fast, they're very athletic. Urban Bowman must be very pleased, as is Adam Rita.
So Dave Ridgway comes on to try a Saskatchewan field goal. Ridgway 10 years ago set the CFL record with 8 field goals in a game against the Ottawa Roughriders. This attempt will come from 42 yards out, with the wind at his back. Ridgway, the low driving kick. It's good. That thing was never more than about 20 feet off the ground. Well, at the end of the year, they all count the same. So Dave Ridgway, who trails the now injured Lou Pasaglia with 521 points, and Ridgway just waiting for Louis to retire so he can take a run at that record.
That's a question he asks all the time. When is Louis going to retire? 19 seasons. That's incredible.
Let's have a look at the kick by Ridgway, and it was partially blocked at the line by the look of it. And they call the sweepers on it, and it just clears the crossbar. So robo kicker Dave Ridgway. And you see them talking to Chris Burns on the Saskatchewan sideline as play resumes, and the pass is completed over there to Horace Brooks, and Markel Fleetwood has his first completion of the football game, and it comes with 13:08 to play in the second quarter. Gain of 6, make it 2nd and 4.
2nd and 4.
And Danny Barrett, although shaken up, is available to play for the Ottawa Roughriders if needed. This is 2nd and 4 for Ottawa. They go the draw play to Joe Campbell. Campbell working his way close to the first down, and his second effort got him across the 45, which is where he needed to be, and Ron Getz came up to make the stick. But it should be a first down for the Ottawa Roughriders, who move the sticks once more.
It's classic linebacking play from Ron Getz. That's exactly what his responsibility is: scrape across hard and make the tackle.
Campbell now with 6 carries for 21 yards so far in the football game. And you see Danny Barrett patrolling the Ottawa sidelines. He's taken some bumps this year behind that Ottawa offensive line, and he comes into this game with a banged up shoulder and elbow just after his sore ribs healed. First down Ottawa from the 45. The pass over the middle is incomplete. He was looking there for Fred Ward. And the coverage provided by Anthony Drawhorn. Drawhorn, who says he may have to play off receivers a little bit this year because quarterbacks aren't throwing his way very much.
He's trying to bait them.
He says, I got to get some activity over there. No one's coming near me. Drawhorn, another one of those former Ottawa Roughriders playing for Saskatchewan. 2nd and 10 for Ottawa from its own 45-yard line. And it's Drawhorn against Ward again. We'll see if Fleetwood goes back there. He does, and this time Ward makes the catch as Drawhorn maybe played a little too far off, and Ward gets the catch and an Ottawa first down.
That's a classic example of the receiver going back saying, hey, I had him beat last time. We just threw the ball behind, and Markel Fleetwood understanding that does a nice job again. 3-step drop, looks, puts it right on the money. Man coverage again. That's how you catch the ball. Extend your hands out, catch it, tuck it away.
14-yard gain for Ward gives Ottawa a first down at the Saskatchewan 52-yard line.
Hey, Drew!
Fleetwood has time, goes over the middle, and a great diving catch is made. As Andrew Murray makes the catch over there. Markel Fleetwood's got his team on a bit of a roll as Andrew Murray comes in the Ottawa 5-receiver set. The former Toronto Argonaut gets 13.
Saskatchewan trying to change up their coverages. They run a zone this time, and it's nice to have some players like Andrew Murray, been around the league for 7 years. As you can see, Fleetwood takes a big crack. That's the kind of thing they want to keep off of the quarterback. They don't want the quarterback to take those kind of hits.
First down from the Saskatchewan 38-yard line. Fleetwood's got hot. He one-hops that pass in there, looking for Fred Ward. Coverage provided on the play by Dale Joseph.
Well, Markel Fleetwood, when he comes up to the line of scrimmage, he's seeing a couple of things. He sees Ron Getz, Dan Rasevich, also Bobby Jurison, who normally lines up outside, will line up inside as well and try and get to the quarterback. They're trying to disrupt him right now by trying to bring people into space. He's trying to get rid of the ball hot. Trying to look very quick after taking 3 steps to try and deliver the football to the inside slot.
One name we haven't mentioned yet is Jock Pliny, who was on the Ottawa bench at this moment, still recovered from the injury he suffered a few weeks ago. Here's Fleetwood on 2nd down. Looking over the top, the pass drops in behind Joe Campbell, and a flag goes down. Peter Miller, the linebacker, was there on the coverage, and it looks as though he'll be called for pass interference. And Miller had his back turned to the play, and quite often when that happens, they make the interference call.
You can see Miller's trying to plead his case by saying, I turned around and put my hands out. I was trying to catch the football. I'm not so sure about that call. Again, they need to back out Joe Campbell, and he's man-on-man coverage with Peter Miller. I don't know. I think the ball was underthrown, and Campbell's trying to stop, and then Miller looks around at incidental contact. But nevertheless, the officials see it differently.
And the penalty gives Ottawa first down at the Saskatchewan 28-yard line. 8th play of the drive, and it's been nicely engineered by Markel Fleetwood.
28.
Play clock down to 2. Fleetwood's got to hurry, gets the play off. Pump fake over the middle. Fleetwood looking for room to run, finds nothing. And Peter Miller called for interference on the previous play, makes up for it as he trips up Markel Fleetwood from behind.
That's a great job by Peter Miller, the outside linebacker. Just absolutely super. Stays back, he spies Markel Fleetwood, and when Fleetwood decides to take off, he holds his ground, doesn't commit. With the pump fake, now he's going to run with it. There's only one man left, and that's Peter Miller, and makes a shoestring tackle. Look at him wrap up. That's great.
It's his second sack of the season.
31.
Loss of 3, second and 13. Here's Fleetwood again to run. This time he's got some room inside the 15. He dives to the 13-yard line, close to a first down. And Glenn Suter, the safety, comes up to make the stop. Fleetwood with a gain of 17 yards and an Ottawa first down. Well, now Adam Rita wants to see his offense do what it's been unable to do all season, put it in the end zone.
Ron Getz, number 47, gets double teamed here, and he just gets driven back, and then Fleetwood goes off of the blocks, and Suter has to come up and make the tackle.
First and 10 now, Ottawa from the Saskatchewan 14-yard line. And the gain over the middle should be a couple anyway. Joe Campbell with the carry. And the Ottawa Roughriders try to sniff out the Saskatchewan end zone.
Now this is a situation where Ottawa has to become aggressive. Gangor, they're inside of the red zone. They've had trouble in here this year. I think if you have a quarterback with the running ability of Markel Fleetwood, I think you want to try to give him an option of something outside where he can either pass or run.
Minnie Pearl looking on from the sidelines. The drive began at the Ottawa 35. Fleetwood to the end zone and just out of the reach of the intended receiver, Horace Brooks. This close to a touchdown pass for Markel Fleetwood.
And this is something Markel Fleetwood's going to learn with experience. That's a case in point where you have to lay the ball up and let the receiver run underneath. He has to throw a perfect pass, or he thinks he has to throw a perfect pass when he doesn't. The receiver has a defender beat. Throw it up, let him run underneath it.
So again, you see the Ottawa Roughriders drive the length of the field, and again you see Terry Baker come on for his third field goal try of the football game, this one from 18 yards out. And Fleetwood in the hole. Baker's 3 for 3, and the Ottawa Roughriders now have a 9-3 lead over the Saskatchewan Roughriders with 7:38 to play in the second quarter of the football game. It's been the Baker story so far, and these guys have to get it going.
At the University of Minnesota, he followed Ricky Foggy into the school and had a great career, and he's made a tremendous impression on one of his tutors here in Ottawa, quarterback Danny Barrett.
He has all the tools to be successful up here. First of all, he brings a good work ethic to work. He comes with the right attitude. He wants to learn. He's craving for things, you know, from the veteran quarterback. He wants to know, how can he improve? What things do I see in him can make him improve? And I think that's necessary for a quarterback in this league. And he has all the tools, strong arm, and he has good feet. He's fast, too. So he can make it happen.
And Fleetwood did a nice job on that last drive, which consumed 5 minutes and 55 seconds of the clock, culminating in the Terry Baker field goal.
And it shows you what kind of a class guy Danny Barrett really is, because a lot of quarterbacks sometimes feel a young guy comes in, he might want to take their job, but Danny Barrett, being the individual that he is trying to help him out as much as he can, giving him all that support.
We saw Matt Dunnigan doing that the other night in Winnipeg when Keith and McCann had to come in and take over a quarterback for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. So Terry Baker to kick it off from the 35 with 7:38 to play in the second quarter. The Saskatchewan Roughriders have showed some signs of offensive life. And we'll see what they can do here. Larry Thompson with the return gets up to about the 36-yard line, and that's where Warren Jones and the offense will go to work after the tackle made by Patrick Wayne. Larry Thompson, Saskatchewan's leading receiver this season, and that's saying something when you've got Don Narcisse and Ray Elgard in the lineup. But Thompson brings great wheels, and he's a great comeback story. A guy who played a couple years ago for Winnipeg and now starring here in Saskatchewan. He's the speed on one side, Narcisse is possession on the other, and Ray Elgard is toughness over the middle. A pretty good combination. Jones back to the shotgun, and again it's the 5 receiver set. Early movement, flags are down. This could be a free play for Warren Jones, who's off and running. And steps out of bounds at the 45. No doubt seeing that early movement, not wanting to take any chances of taking an unnecessary shot.
That's a smart move by Warren Jones. Get out of bounds. Especially when all the pursuit's coming from the inside out. You don't want to be putting your head up in there. Especially when you see a guy like John Kropke coming after you.
Well, it's a gain of 8. It'll bring up 2nd and 2, and they'll decline the penalty.
Offside, Ottawa. Penalties declined.
The story so far brought to you by Dodge Trucks, reinventing the truck. Time of possession for Ottawa, 14:32 so far. Joe Campbell's had a pretty good night, 7 for 24, and Terry Baker doing it again, 3 for 3. Saskatchewan is perhaps fortunate to be only down by 6, considering the offensive troubles the Western Riders had in the opening quarter. Now 2 backs in the backfield, and they give to the lead back. And Mike Saunders with the carry picks up a couple and should have the first down. We saw Terrell Ulmer lined up in the backfield for Saskatchewan on that play, so he's a defensive back, a receiver, does a little backup tailback.
Well, it's funny, earlier in the year when we did a game earlier against Sacramento, we saw them line up a lot in this quad eye or the stack eye. John Kropke does a nice job of firing the gap, and Chris Burns, the rookie left tackle, is going to really have a tough night with him.
Talk to offensive linemen around the league, and one thing they'll tell you is that perhaps the most underrated defensive lineman in the Canadian Football League is John Kropke. Very tough against the run, and also very tough on the pass rush.
To get an appreciation of what he just did, I mean, he does not know when the snap count is, and he beat the tackle to the play side gap. That's pretty incredible.
Saunders got the first down. There's the 4-back set you see for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. And now they'll run option, and Jones flips it out to Ulmer, and Ulmer is going nowhere after a great defensive play to sniff it out early. Jesse Small got up there quickly, but the initial play was made by Corey Dowden to hustle up and take away the option.
Well, Ottawa's defense gets right into the backfield almost immediately, and then Corey Dowden comes in and takes the pitch man, and that's exactly how you're supposed to defend option. Force the quarterback to pitch it.
Sorry, Jimmy, why do teams always option to the short side of the field?
I have no, well, usually they try to put all the receivers onto one side and then come back where there's no defensive backs. But I'm with you, Gord. I put them all the other side and run to the wide side.
No gain. High snap for Jones, who corrals it, and now throwing quickly to Elgard, who's got a first down. And Ray Elgard brought down by Corey Dowden, but not before he picks up 11 and a Saskatchewan first down.
When the offensive line give Jones a chance to throw the ball and sit in the pocket, he shows great poise, and he really delivers a strike.
Here he is, the all-time leader in receiving yards and in catches. The perennial all-star who moves in behind Don Narcisse and makes the grab for 11. So it's back in Ottawa territory at the 52-yard line of the Eastern Riders. 5:20 to play now in the second quarter, and Saskatchewan down by 6. Jones has done most of his work from the shotgun. Here he is again, going over the top for Elgard on Dowden, and Corey Dowden was with him step for step. There's many things that Ray Elgard can do better than anyone in the league, but beat someone deep may not be the one.
No, that's tough. You know, just given his age, I think as well, 34 years old, he's been around the league taking a lot of hits. And you're not going to beat Corey Dowden.
One thing Elgard does better than anyone in the league is tying his run to the line of scrimmage. Ron Lancaster and Edmonton insist that Elgard has been offside every play for the last 3 years. Now 2nd and 10 from the 52-yard line. And here comes Elgard again, timing his run perfectly. It's a draw play to Mike Saunders. Saunders has got all kinds of room. Patrick Burke jumps up and makes the tackle, but not before Saunders gets down to the 28-yard line for a gain of 23.
They work upfield, the defensive lineman to the outside to try and contain Warren Jones, and they run the draw play inside to Mike Saunders, and Saunders explodes when he gets the ball. Nice little juke move there. Patrick Burke making the tackle.
drive. First down from the Ottawa 28. Jones under pressure over the top looking for Saunders. Got one hand on it but couldn't make the catch. Jones had to rush the throw as the pressure was coming from Brian Bonner. And David Benefield got in his face as well.
Even though that pass was a little bit off, at least Warren Jones gave Mike Saunders a chance to get to the football. Saunders almost comes down with a catch, tries to turn his hips back to the quarterback.
One thing we haven't seen Jones do a lot of is run the football, and that's one thing at which he is very adept. Just to back up Tracy Ham, and Tracy Ham passed on much of what he learned about being a running quarterback to young Warren Jones. Receivers all over the line of scrimmage, no flags are down, and now Jones has got some room to run. Willie waits a moment, and he got a pass away to Thompson, and Thompson trying to get close to the first down. He did, but wasn't Jones across the line of scrimmage. It's a gain of 10. Leonard Johnson was all over him. I thought Jones was across the line of scrimmage when he got that over to Larry Thompson. And that's what Adam Rita thinks.
Well, Jones wanted to go to his left initially, and then he starts to run with the football. Ottawa are in his own defense.
The Tom Wilkinson throw there. He had his face to the ground when he threw that ball.
But I tell you, what a great move by Thompson to get up the field. Did that nice swim move with the ball in his right hand.
Well, it's a first down for Saskatchewan at the Ottawa 18-yard line. Jones quickly back in the pocket, throwing behind Don Narcisse. And just a little mistake in the timing as Narcisse hadn't yet broken off the route. Andre Francis back there on the coverage. We've come to the 3-minute warning in the second quarter. It is Saskatchewan trailing Ottawa 9-3 as the rains let up. And Saskatchewan looks to pour it on here at Taylor Field.
We're having a little contest out at center field. They'll be putting on a show for the fans tonight. 3:01 left to play first half. The running game, a factor for both teams. Saskatchewan very conscious of how good Ottawa's offensive line is at run blocking and how effective the Riders are at running the football. The Saskatchewan Roughriders can run it as well, and given the way their passing game is going tonight and the conditions outside, the field conditions and everything else, we could very well see both teams trying to run the ball quite a lot through the rest of this ball game.
And it's reflected in the drives. There's only been 2 in the second quarter. Ottawa's long one, and now Saskatchewan coming back with another. So as Saskatchewan drives the ball, Markel Fleetwood wonders if he'll ever get a chance.
Second and 10.
Second and 10 now from the 18. Early movement. Flags are down. Jones to the end zone. Touchdown, Mike Saunders. There are flags down, but Saunders has the catch. His first receiving touchdown of the year, if it stands. It's offside Ottawa, and the first touchdown of the game is passed from Warren Jones to Mike Saunders. It covers 19 yards.
A little bit surprising. Ottawa goes to zone coverage, and usually when it's inside the 20, you're in man. And you can see Saunders just goes right down the seam, and Jones delivers him the football and gets into the end zone. I'm a little surprised at the call on defense there, Gord.
Dave Ridgway to add the convert. He's made 181 straight. Make that 182, and it gives the Saskatchewan Roughriders the lead. 10-9 now the score with 2:43 to play, and Warren Jones thinks he's just got going. 4 minutes, 55 seconds. It covered 10 plays, and it capped off by Warren Jones to Mike Saunders for the 19-yard touchdown. And the Saskatchewan Roughriders have seized the lead at 10-9 with 2:43 to go at the second quarter. And Mike Saunders, who played his college football at Iowa with Jerry Collins, who would have been Ottawa's starting tailback in this football game. The 2 of them went to Pittsburgh Steelers training camp together. Kickoff is short, taken by Horace Brooks, and Brooks gets up to the 50-yard line. So with 2.5 to go in the second quarter, Ottawa will have an opportunity to perhaps put some points on the board.
I'm kind of surprised at that kickoff by Saskatchewan. You don't want to put it deep because you don't want people to get the good return set up, but you can't give them the ball on their own 50-yard line either. And so Markel Fleetwood, who
showed some flashes in that last drive. We'll try to put together a quick one here and put at least 3 points on the board. Terry Baker's been the busiest man in the football game. Fleetwood with the draw play to Campbell. Campbell breaks through the middle, gets down to the 49-yard line. Ron Gett prevented him from getting a lot further with the shoestring tackle.
And there's one guy out there shaking his head right now in defense, and that's Bobby Jurison. He lined up right inside, and then prior to the snap of the ball, he ran out and tried to come with the outside pass rush, and they ran the draw right up inside. Jurison, of course, shaking his head, saying that he should have stayed inside.
Gain is 10, a first down at the Saskatchewan 50-yard line. Happy 30th birthday, Bobby J. This time they fake the draw to Campbell. Fleetwood goes out here to Horace Brooks, and Brooks has the ball come loose. They'll call it a catch, and he fumbled it out of bounds, but it'll be just a gain of 3. Aaron Ruffin over to make the stop.
Aaron Ruffin, initially a corner. They tried to put him in at halfback this year earlier, and he played there until this game. They stuck him back outside because of an injury. Dale Joseph, of course, filling in Aaron Ruffin's spot.
They've really had to make some moves around the Saskatchewan defensive backfield and the linebacker position. Now Fleetwood on second down over the middle, completes it to Andrew Murray, and Murray's close to a first down up at the Saskatchewan 39-yard line. And Dale Joseph makes the stop, but it appears that Ottawa's pretty close to a first down. And they'll call for a measurement right at the 39-yard line. 1:53 to play here in the second quarter. Both offenses slow to get going, but Jamie, both of them are gaining some momentum now here late in the second quarter.
Well, they're starting to put some drives together, Gord. They're mixing some things up. They're running the ball fairly effectively and also throwing the ball short right now. Markel Fleetwood's coming up to the line of scrimmage. As we see, they got the first down. But he's coming up to the line of scrimmage, and they have their slots out either side. He's just looking to see where the linebackers are not lined up, and then the slots are going inside, and he's throwing it to the open receiver.
Coming up at the half, we'll have an update on the world of sports today. We'll have our CFL Live halftime report talking about Grey Cup 1995 here in Regina, and Jamie and I will come back with the story of the opening half. And the story is still unfolding with 1:45 to play in the second quarter. It was a first down for Ottawa at the Saskatchewan 39. Back to the ground to Joe Campbell, and Campbell pulls his way ahead to about the 35-yard line in Saskatchewan. And Campbell's been impressive. This guy came in with -1 yards rushing before this football game, but he's stacking them up here. 9 carries for 38 yards so far.
Well, he's not a very big ball player, only 5'10", 185 pounds, but he really hits in there hard. You see a little bit of blood on his jersey.
Oh, you got it like that, huh?
Yeah, he's getting right in there.
That's football, huh? As long as it's not your own.
That's right.
Clock running at 1:20 in the second quarter. Fleetwood, quick drop, can't find anyone open under pressure, hangs it up. Joseph runs under it, makes the catch, and breaks down to about the 14-yard line. Darren Joseph just waited for that ball to come down. Glenn Suter made the tackle, a gain of 21.
And Ray Hiock just shakes his head. He just cannot believe that. What's happening to him? Again, Fleetwood wants to look inside to the slot, but they do a great job this time in taking that away. It's not there. Now the rush is getting to him. Ron Getz, he throws the ball up. And Darren Joseph does a nice job to get away from Peter Miller, the linebacker who's covering him, and he comes back, does a little spin, gets up the field. Good heads-up play by Darren Joseph.
First down from the 14. Campbell up the middle, has some room. Touchdown! Joe Campbell puts the move on Glenn Suter and scores his first CFL touchdown. And Ottawa is back on top. A nifty drive put together by Markel Fleetwood in the final moments of the first half. Well, Joe Campbell has been quite a story for the Ottawa Roughriders, who never seem to have a problem coming up with a good tailback when they need one.
It's incredible. They have Mike Richardson, of course, and then Collins last week, and now Joe Campbell.
You go back to the days of Skip Walker and others, they've always seemed to have a great running attack in Ottawa. Terry Baker adds the convert and puts his team back up by 6. It's Ottawa 16, Saskatchewan 10, and Joe Campbell just threw the souvenir. He's got the ball from his first CFL score. However, with 49 seconds to play in the opening half, it's 16-10 for the Ottawa Roughriders over their western counterparts from Saskatchewan. And with that much time remaining, Saskatchewan will try to do something with Warren Jones at quarterback and answer the touchdown drive engineered by Markel Fleetwood. Jones has 3 receivers to the top of the screen. Time to throw to the sideline at Don Narcisse, and Narcisse has got room to run. Gets away from Patrick Burke and gets out of bounds at the 38-yard line, and that's it for Don Narcisse. 116 consecutive games with a catch. Ties him for 3rd place on the all-time list with Tom Scott. The record is 137, held by Tony Gabriel, and it's a gain of 28 yards.
And a smart play by Donald Narcisse to get out of bounds as well, but this is a great job by Warren Jones. He's looking at the secondary. He watches Patrick Burke drops way off. Now Patrick Burke gambles, tries to come in and use the right hand to knock the ball away. He misses, and Narcisse gets up the field, and then smartly he gets out of bounds and stops the clock.
First down from the 40. Clock stopped at 41 seconds. Back to the shotgun is Jones. Lots of time. As Ulmer looking over the top, Ulmer reaches out, and the ball bounces away from him as Brett Young was over to provide the coverage. He did a good job. And the rain is starting to fall a little harder here now at Taylor Field. Ulmer's been a busy guy today. Tailback, wide receiver, defensive back, kick returner.
Must be a tired guy, too, because they've been taking him deep on the routes as the rain continues to fall at Taylor Field.
So it brings up a 2nd down from the 39-yard line. The wind has died down substantially, so Ridgway would be looking at a field goal attempt of about 47 yards right now with not much wind. Jones with time. Elgard has it. Looking for a block from Narcisse. Elgard down inside the 10 to the 9-yard line. Tackle made by Patrick Burke, a gain of 31 yards by Ray Elgard.
This is a very impressive drive put together by Warren Jones. Shows great courage standing in the pocket and delivering strikes right now. Ray Elgard against Corey Dowden. Again, man coverage, gives him a little shot, and then he turns outside. Dowden actually comes underneath it. Ray Elgard keeps the hands out.
But it's coming back. Offside is the call against the Saskatchewan Roughriders. It negates the gain by Elgard and makes it 2nd and 15 from the 44. Now if Saskatchewan's unsuccessful, the Western Riders are looking at a field goal try of about 51 yards. What a bitter disappointment for Saskatchewan. So they'll try it again. 4 receivers to the wide side of the field. Jones under pressure. He has a long way to go. Can he get there? No, he can't. Patrick Burke came up to help make the stop, and Jones is stopped 5 yards short of a 1st down. It'll bring on Dave Ridgway in the field goal unit.
An important run, Gord, because it puts them into field goal range right now. Even though 52 yards, Ridgway's hit one this year, they would have been a 51-yard field goal. Jones is not going to force anything. He sees it open up. He's going to take the ball and get as much as he possibly can. It's a shoulder down. Looks like a running back. It's a good shot to Patrick Burke.
So Ridgway, the 13-year CFL veteran, will try this one from the same spot he made his first, 42 yards out. Then Suter gets the snap down, and Ridgway puts it through. He's 2 for 2. And his Saskatchewan Roughriders are now within 3 on the final play of the opening half that saw both teams get off to a slow start. But Warren Jones, who thought he might have a shot at a touchdown, engineers a field goal drive for his team with less than 50 seconds to go in the opening half. So they'll go to the dressing room, back to the drawing board, and our halftime activities are coming up next on the CFL Live from Regina.
Give the ball deep in the backfield to Joe Campbell and let him use his vision and find the seam.
Penalty makes it 1st and 15 Ottawa from the Saskatchewan 48-yard line. Fleetwood trying the pump fake, can't find anyone to go to, loses the football, and it's Saskatchewan's ball. Sean Brantley grabs the loose football, and so in the opening moments of the 2nd half, it's a turnover for the Saskatchewan Roughriders, who snuff out the Ottawa scoring threat. Big Sean Brantley with the fumble recovery, and he gives his team the football near midfield, and so Saskatchewan has a chance to regain the lead when we return to Taylor Field. Riders turn the ball over.
A great job by the defensive line. They come in, they're under control, they don't get too deep. Now Fleetwood tries to take over the ball, but LeBrant Robinson gets in there and strips it. Number 98. Now the ball is on the carpet, and Sean Brantley, the nose tackle, tries to scoop it up and then makes better, just jumps on it and saves the play for Saskatchewan.
It's like a one-hopper for him. So Warren Jones and the Saskatchewan offense go to work thanks to Sean Brantley's fumble recovery. It'll be 1st and 10 Saskatchewan from its own 48-yard line. First turnover of the football game for the Ottawa Roughriders. And Jones back to the shotgun. Early movement, flags are down. Jones over the middle for Ray Elgard, who makes the catch. Looked to lateral for a moment, decides to hang on. He's got a pickup of 8 down to the Ottawa 53-yard line as Corey Dowden makes the stop. And flags are down. That'll be offside against Ottawa. We saw something interesting in the Saskatchewan offensive backfield. We saw defensive backs again lining up at receiver, and we've seen that more than once today. So the Saskatchewan Roughriders making some interesting personnel decisions.
Ray Elgard comes down working against Corey Dowden. He uses his height to his advantage as Warren Jones puts the ball up.
And he thought about lateraling here for a moment. Mike Saunders is coming in behind him, but Elgard, the ex-rugby player, decides to wait for the next scrummage, which will come from the Ottawa 53-yard line. And there's this scatter formation we've seen before from the Saskatchewan Roughriders. The give to the lead back, Mike Saunders, who is dropped in his tracks short of the first down. Nice defensive play made by the Ottawa defense. Leonard Johnson leads the charge, and John Kropke.
John Kropke, number 73, just beats Chris Burns to that play side gap and gets in and disrupts the play before it even starts. In the trenches, these two are going against one another. Chris Burns, playing the left tackle spot, goes against some of the best people all year long, because that's where they put their best pass rusher.
And Saskatchewan goes gambling on 3rd and a long yard. Warren Jones goes straight ahead, and he'll be close to the first down. He needs to get down to the 51-yard line of Ottawa. And Patrick Burke, who is about 40 yards away, is indicating that Ottawa stopped them, but we think the referees might make the final decision on this. Jones just lunged straight ahead, and they spot it right at the 51. This will be close. Mentioned Jones, a good running quarterback, came into this game with 5 carries for 36 yards, and that's one thing that Tom Burgess hasn't done real well, is run the football. He has about a 3-yard rushing average. Jones with 2 carries in the football game for 21 yards, and this one gives Saskatchewan a first down, so the drive will continue. And both teams employing ball control in the football game. Only 4 offensive possessions in the second quarter. Both teams put together the drives of 4.5, 5 minutes. And this one coming after the Ottawa turnover continues. 1st and 10 from the Ottawa 51-yard line. And Jones wanders back to the shotgun. Just gets the play off. Time over the middle and dropped it. Looking over there for Don Narcisse, and he couldn't squeeze it. Patrick Burke in on the coverage.
Don Narcisse runs a nice pattern to get wide open. But instead of using his hands, watch how he tries to take the ball into his body, and it bounces off of his face mask. That's when you have to extend the hands way out and get control of the ball and then bring it into your body.
Very tough to catch the ball with your face mask. This season, 4 touchdowns, and of course earlier in the game the streak continued. He's now caught passes in 116 consecutive games. Every game he's played for the Roughriders, he's caught a pass. From the shotgun on 2nd down, Jones stands in, gets it underneath to Elgard, and Elgard's got room to roll, still rumbling down the sidelines. Elgard, touchdown! Ray Elgard, a 51-yard pass and run touchdown, and Saskatchewan's back on top. Jones on 2nd and long was probably thinking first down, but he'll take the touchdown.
Ray Elgard shows his experience. Being covered by linebackers all night, doing a pretty good job against him, but not that time.
Ray Elgard
Elgard gets the job done for the Saskatchewan Roughriders, and this offense has really come to life under Warren Jones. Dave Ridgway adds the convert, and the Saskatchewan Roughriders take the lead for the second time, 20-16. We'll return to the CFL Live from Taylor Field in just a moment.
Brian Bonner, the inside linebacker, a little bit confused, I think, on the coverage. He comes out, it's man coverage against Elgard, but you cannot play inside like that. Elgard just catches a pass, now runs away from him, a nice stiff arm with his left hand, and now it's a foot race to the end zone, and he beats Brett Young.
Ray Elgard now with 3 catches for 84 yards and a touchdown, and Warren Jones puts his Saskatchewan Roughriders back on top after the fumble gave Saskatchewan a chance to take the ball the other way.
And I think Ray Yawk has to be saying to Warren Jones, great read, great patience and great read. Great to recognize what's going on defense.
Dave Ridgway's kickoff is taken by Fred Ward at the 25-yard line. Ward looking for his team, gets across the 40-yard line to the 44, fumble. And we'll see who came up with it this time. And again, a player not involved in the play makes the quick indication, but we'll wait for the referee's call. I always love that when guys like 20 yards away look into a pile of 30 people and say, I know who has it. We do. So Ottawa will retain possession, and Markel Fleetwood will put the offense back to work.
Bruce Boyko coming down, number 15, gets his hand in. Ward right there knocks the ball away. But the Riders recover.
First and 10 Ottawa from the 44-yard line. Here's Campbell right back at it, and Campbell gets a gain of a couple across the 45 to the 47-yard line. Gary Lewis, the veteran, comes up to make the stop.
Yeah, they told me to switch it. Well, Ottawa seem to be content right now trying to run the ball. Again, they get their 2 tight ends in. Now they switch them out, both Parchenko. He leaves the game, as well as James Monroe, the backup center.
And Rashovich and Miller come out for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. So 7 defensive backs in the game now for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. On 2nd and about 7. Fleetwood, 3-step drop, stands in, delivers, and too low. Looking over there for Horace Brooks. And the offensive figuring goes on down at the Saskatchewan bench, and this offense has played pretty well. And you see Pat Perlis, the offensive coach, working down there. His father, George, the longtime head coach at Michigan State. Last scoring drive for Saskatchewan, 5 plays, 62 yards. Took just over 2.5 minutes, and Ray Elgard caps it off with a 51-yard pass and run touchdown. Terry Baker is back to punt. And there's some confusion on the Saskatchewan side as Saunders is trying to get out there. I think they might be a man short. And Baker gets it away. Terrell Ulmer watches it bounce and now watches it roll towards the sidelines. To the 12-yard line, a flag is down. Ulmer's brought down at the 15, so he suckers Ottawa into a no-yards call. Andrew Thomas might have been down a little early, and that will help the return somewhat, as it'll give Ottawa slightly better, Saskatchewan slightly better field position.
Andrew Thomas is telling the official he was the onside man. Andrew Thomas did not line up in the line of scrimmage, but back behind the punter when the ball was kicked. They were trying to put the ball in the corner and allow Andrew Thomas to go down and recover it, and that's what they're talking about right now. So Andrew Thomas onside can infringe on that 5-yard area and get the football.
And no yards is the indication against the Ottawa Roughriders. You saw Ray Yawk a moment ago, the Saskatchewan head coach, and he was in intense pain down on the Saskatchewan sidelines when he got hurt against Edmonton, and he really has to watch the bad leg he has, and sometimes the pain expression comes from the way his offense performs as well. By the way, no yards is waved off, and so it is a first down for the Saskatchewan Roughriders from their own 18-yard line. Tomorrow it's Baltimore at Hamilton as our 4-game week comes to a wrap here on TSN 7 Eastern, 4 o'clock Pacific. Warren Jones takes the low snap of the shotgun, throws right over the middle, and has a strike as he hits Terrell Ulmer. And Ulmer, who just returned that kick and just finished playing some defensive back in the nickel package for Saskatchewan, is now employed as a wide receiver.
I'll tell you what, that's going to be a mismatch if Ottawa want to try and play that defense. They had Alfred Smith man coverage and Terry Ulmer. Alfred Smith is a linebacker, but Terry Ulmer with the fleet feet, you can see the separation that he had.
So it's a first down for Saskatchewan right away up to its own 29-yard line, and The weather is starting to take a turn for the worse again. Jones delivers quickly, looking for Thompson, but he had a defender all over him as Andre Francis was with him step for step. And Larry Thompson, Saskatchewan's leading receiver, hasn't seen much business tonight, thanks in large part to the coverage provided by Francis. Thompson has 1 catch in the football game thus far.
Adam Reeder was telling us yesterday he feels that he has maybe 2 of the best corners. He thinks Patrick Burke and as well as Andre Francis are 2 of the best corners in the business.
Might get an argument from the Calgary Stampeders, who have...
I think we get an argument from a lot of coaches. They always seem to think they have the best guys in their football team.
So brings up 2nd and 10. And back to the shotgun goes Jones, and looking to this side to Elgard, and Elgard has it swatted out of his hands. Nice play by Corey Dowden. So Dowden reaches in and takes away what looked to be a sure catch for Ray Elgard. And so Saskatchewan will be forced to punt.
These Ottawa defensive backs do a nice job when they play man coverage, because not only do they close very hard and they lose the cushion. Corey Dowden comes in, gets his left hand in front. That is picture perfect defensive backfield play.
And so Brent Matich is back to punt for Saskatchewan. The wind's kind of changed directions now, blowing from left to right, kind of in his face here. Swirling winds, nothing new to anyone who's played in Saskatchewan. Low tumbling kick, a flag is down. It bounces away from Joe Campbell, who scoops it up at the 40, still doesn't have it. And it looks to be Saskatchewan football. Campbell never quite got the ball back. It is Saskatchewan ball. We'll check the flag. The flag came in kind of a funny spot, about halfway between the point where Matich kicked the ball and Ottawa recovered it. And the initial indication is that it's holding against Saskatchewan. It is holding Saskatchewan. So that will nullify the recovery of the football. Of course, Matich to punt once more. So 3rd down repeated for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. A break for Ottawa. Almost the 2nd turnover of the half for the Eastern Riders.
Well, the call was against Peter Miller, the linebacker, but he plays on that punt team. Ottawa trying to run a bit of a stunt, and he got caught and stuck out his hand and pulled down the defender.
Well, this does 2 things. It prevents Saskatchewan from getting the ball back, and now Matich is forced to punt from about his own 5-yard line. So it guarantees Ottawa great field position as long as the Rider punt returners can hang on to the ball.
3rd down and 20.
So Matich on the 2nd try. 2nd best punting average in the league. Will be put to the test here. 2 men deep for the Ottawa Roughriders. Matich gets a better kick away. A tumbling drive to Nick Mazzoli, who let it go. Hustles back to pick it up right at midfield. Another flag is down. If that's no yards, you can bet Saskatchewan will argue that. Jumping in quickly was Dan Ratchovich, and really anytime the ball bounces around like that, they should just let it go.
Well, I think what happens is they throw the flag, but then they talk about it and say, no, if he's trying to get out of that 5-yard area, they're going to, I think they should wave that off. Because as long as the player is trying to get out.
Well, what would have been Saskatchewan ball at the Ottawa 35 turns out to be Ottawa ball, at least at midfield. And it's the 5-yard no yards call against the Saskatchewan Roughriders, which gives Ottawa a 1st down in Saskatchewan territory at the 50. 6:57 to play in the 3rd quarter. The CFL Live continues right after this.
A couple of guys from Queens. The weather's getting bad, and Jock, you're finished for the night. How's the hamstring?
Well, felt it twinge in the about the 3rd or 4th play of the game. You know, it wasn't on a special play. It was the same thing I've been doing all week in practice, but maybe the cold weather, maybe I was tense, whatever. Can't go, so I'm sitting her down.
Back upstairs. Good luck with it, eh? Take care of yourself.
Thanks, Peter.
Markel Fleetwood on the bootleg has all kinds of room to run, still going down to the 24-yard line. Glenn Suter makes the stop, but not before the Ottawa quarterback picks up 25 yards. A great fake by Markel Fleetwood.
Great ball handling, Gord. There's no question about that. They brought in their big tight ends. Look at this. This looks like Joe Campbell has the ball, and Joe Campbell does a nice job and sells it because he runs hard. And then Fleetwood gets outside to contain. And now he's a running back. This guy did a great job.
One of Ottawa's favorite plays, it's called a Sally Rand, where Campbell thinks he's going to get the football. At the last second, the quarterback can pull it out and call it on his own. And now Campbell does get the football. Talking to Ottawa running backs about it, it's a very unusual play because they think they're getting the ball. Fleetwood, the quarterback, makes the decision whether or not to give it to him and just takes off on his own. So Campbell makes the great fake because he thinks he's getting the ball.
Well, it's interesting there because they run the same play to the other side. This time they give him the ball, but you see all the Saskatchewan people all looking now over at Fleetwood to see whether or not he's got the football.
Quarterbacks quite often don't ball fake. I know Matt Dunnigan and Damon Allen do. Do you generally advise quarterbacks to fake with the ball?
Well, the reason they don't do the ball fake is they think that some bad things can happen. The ball can be hit. They rather use the hand and secure the ball to the quarterback's stomach.
Here's Fleetwood on first down, throwing it behind the intended receiver. He was looking for Horace Brooks. So we've got some rain falling at Taylor Field. There's lightning off in the distance, and all in all, it's turned into kind of a rough night in the prairies. You heard Peter Watch talking to Jock Climbing. Those Queens guys hate the bad weather, huh?
Jock Climbing just graduated from law school this year, and he's going to be joining a law firm and doing his articling and then write the bar exam, I believe, next year.
So Terry Baker, who's had a good night so far, 3 for 3, will try this one from 27 yards out. As is often the case at Taylor Field, I can't figure out what the wind is doing. But that football goes right through the uprights and pulls the Ottawa Roughriders within 1, now trailing 20-19 as Baker goes 4 for 4. Great for him, but really Ottawa doesn't want to see Terry Baker kicking quite as many field goals as he's been kicking this season.
Well, you talked about at the beginning of the show, Gord, how they have the inability to finish off, and it comes back to haunt them in the fourth quarter. They've been down inside of the red zone twice, I believe, tonight and come up with field goals both times.
Talked about a game earlier this season, sorry, Jamie, where they lost 23-21 to Edmonton. Baker accounted for all the scoring. He kicked 7 field goals. That was a game that Ottawa could have won at Commonwealth Stadium, and what a big boost that would have been for Adam Rita's team.
And it's really tough. You know, you go to practice, you work on that, you're working on your plays in the red zone, and you just have a breakdown here or there. And the next thing you know, you have to be attempting field goals. But it really becomes a confidence thing, and we take a look at the rain continues to come down hard.
And an interesting decision here by the Saskatchewan Roughriders after the field goal, making the Ottawa Roughriders kick off. They have the option of taking it to the 35, but I guess you figure with the slippery field conditions and a slippery football, maybe some good things should happen on a kickoff return. So Baker from the 35. This is Thompson at the 25. Reversing his field across the 35, not quite, brought down at the 33, so it's a net loss of 2 yards for Saskatchewan. Nice play by Rodney Thomas, hustling down to make the tackle.
Rodney Thomas doesn't make that tackle. I think Thompson's around the corner, and it's a long run.
And Warren Jones goes back to work for the Saskatchewan Roughriders, having a pretty decent evening, especially in the late second and early third quarters. 9 of 19 now for 158 yards, a pair of touchdowns, and no interceptions for the man from Hawaii.
There's been some great defensive back play that have stopped a couple of those sure completions.
Here's Mike Saunders as Saskatchewan goes back to the ground game. Saunders breaks away from the initial pressure and gets across the 40 to the 42, a gain of 8.
That's real tough running from Mike Saunders. Keeps his legs moving the whole time, gets square into the hole, and just keeps down. Doesn't give the defensive people much to hit. All they really see are knees and shoulders. Gets down real low and just squirts through there. Nice job.
Saunders now with 58 yards tonight, leading Saskatchewan in rushing by miles, in fact. Flags are down. Saunders has the first down and plenty more as he gets out to the 52-yard line. Saunders came into the game with 423 yards rushing, so he's now got about 480. No one else on Saskatchewan had 100. And Dave Ewell will sort out what the flag's all about. And this will come back as they called Chris Burns for the hold.
When you talk about Mike Saunders with the kind of yardage he has, his backfield mate, Sean Daniels, only has 4 yards rushing. If we're going to take a look at the hold, it's going to happen right in here. As Chris Burns is going to be against John Kropke, of course. Have some problems. You see, Kropke does a great job of getting into that gap and coming down the line, and Burns is having a real tough problem with him all night.
And Kropke made the call himself.
Absolutely. He gets up and says that was a hold.
7th penalty of the game for Saskatchewan. Now on 2nd and 12. Here's Jones. Looking over there to Ray Elgard, but the play is broken up nicely by Brett Young. And Brett Young, the fifth-year man out of Oregon, has had a duel all night with Ray Elgard. Elgard beat them for a touchdown, but that was on Brian Bonner, so Young has really held his own.
Well, Brett Young didn't play at all last week and gets a start at that right halfback spot. Try to run a crossing pattern, and Ray Elgard works outside. Brett Young extending his body, knocking the ball away.
So Brent Madish back to punt once more from his 17-yard line. And the wind is back to his back. Hard to imagine a swirling wind in Regina. Changes directions by the minute. Madish just catches away. A high spiraling kick. Taken by Campbell at the 35. Campbell got past the first wave, but is brought down by the second wave of tacklers, including linebacker Gary Rogers. Markel Fleetwood and the offense go to work with 3:11 to play in the third quarter, and Joe Campbell's had a busy night for the Ottawa Roughriders. Scored a touchdown, run the ball well, returned some kicks.
And it really is amazing what a mobile quarterback can do to your offense, how it can change the complexion of it. And you take a look at teams obviously like Calgary with Doug Flutie, Edmonton with David Allen, and now Ottawa with Markel Fleetwood.
Really starting to rain hard now. Give us the lead back. Joseph, he lost the football. Darren Joseph had trouble hanging on to it. You can see the rain just pounding down. Joseph got it back. It'll be second down. You can hear it raining here in Regina. Oh, I'm sorry. Are you cooking bacon? Little lightning, little wind, little rain.
I think it's a lot of lightning, a lot of wind, and a lot of rain.
Those are big flashes.
Second and 10, Ottawa from its own 42-yard line. Fleetwood back to throw over the middle and behind the intended receiver, Fred Ward. And throwing the ball has got to be tough under conditions like this, Jamie.
It is, because it gets very heavy, and even though they have a number of them down the sidelines, they try to keep them dry, and the officials put towels over them and everything else. It's still very, very difficult. And plus, you can't get the grip on the ball. You have to try and palm it more when you throw it. You can't really grip it hard because it slips out of your hand. So therefore, you don't get as much control on the football when you want to throw it.
Now, to me, the worst thing would be kicking it. It's like kicking a watermelon or something. Footballs weigh about twice as much when they're wet. And Terry Baker will get a chance to hunt the wet football in the rain and wind. Not a bad kick. Ulmer from the 30. Flags are down, and Ulmer is in his tracks at the 31-yard line. It seems like every punt return's had a flag in this football game.
And that, you know, it's on the onus of the kicking team, the players in the kicking team, to locate the football. And those are really discipline penalties as far as I'm concerned. I know they want to go down and corral him, but they're giving him 15 yards. It's just too much.
No yards. Against Ottawa.
Saw Dan Farthing a moment ago. We haven't seen him much tonight. No catches for the young slot back from the University of Saskatchewan, who's really come into his own this year for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. So the no yards call moves Saskatchewan to its own 46-yard line, where the offense will begin 1st and 10. What wind there is at Saskatchewan's back. Jones again from the shotgun. Over the middle to Narcisse, and Narcisse makes the great diving catch up to the Ottawa 50-yard line. Andre Francis makes the stop. Peter?
You know, guys, a lot of talk yesterday at the news conferences about the fact Saskatchewan was struggling with its pass protection, that it was a real problem. Well, there has not been a sack tonight, I don't believe. And Saskatchewan's blocking, even with young Burns on the left tackle there, handling the people that he's going against, has been pretty good.
And the Saskatchewan offensive line taking exception to people who called that portion of the Saskatchewan offense its weak link. But there you see Derek McCready jumping into the backfield along with Kropke. And John Kropke has been in position to take the handoff a couple of times.
John Kropke is really a great player. And the problems that he creates for you, his initial movement off the ball is incredible. Plus, what he creates problems for in terms of pass rushing is that he doesn't just have 1 or 2 good techniques. He's got about 4 or 5, and he mixes them up all the time.
And giving Chris Burns a tough night in the Saskatchewan huddle.
And you know, Chris Burns is going to develop into a great left tackle, but you know, he's got to go in there his first year and learn by under fire, and that's very, very tough. The toughest position to play in the offensive line, left tackle.
2nd and 14. Jones guns it out there to Elgard. Gets away from the first tackler. Now looking for the first down marker, but he stopped short at the 45-yard line as Corey Dowden makes the stop. And the rookie out of Tulane, Dowden, gives a lot away in size, but he's hung in with Ray Elgard.
Corey Dowden's done a nice job tonight, but Ray Elgard there again against man coverage does a great job. We're talking about the matchup between John Kropke and Chris Burns. We say the left tackle is the toughest position to play because they always put their best pass rusher on the quarterback's backside, but that time Chris Burns did a nice job. Elgard catching the ball, keeps his feet moving, nice moves.
He was out practicing with a rugby ball yesterday.
Yeah, we saw that. That was kind of strange.
Says it's tougher to catch, but it's a lot easier to kick. And Elgard stays out there on special teams for Saskatchewan. In fact, one of their special teams captains. This punt, almost ideal, rolls into the end zone. It'll be a single point for Brent Matic, and that will give Saskatchewan a 2-point cushion at 21-19 with 8 seconds to play. And now time winds down in the 3rd quarter. So the Saskatchewan Roughriders get a point on the final play of the 3rd frame and have a 2-point lead as we head for the 4th in the rain and lightning and everything else at Taylor Field. Set for the start of the 4th quarter at Taylor Field in Regina. I'm Gord Miller with Jamie Bone and Peter Watts. Markel Fleetwood and the Ottawa offense go back to work, trailing by a pair after the single by Brent Matic, and Fleetwood's team has had some turnover problems and some drop ball problems here in the 2nd half.
And in case you're wondering, when you look at that huddle, you say it looks like they have too many linemen. Well, you're right. They have Parchenko in there again, and they also have James Monroe lined up as tight ends.
And that would be the indication they would run the ball, which Joe Campbell does, diving ahead for a gain of about 4 before LeBrant Robinson made the stop.
You know, I'm getting ready right now for them to do something where they try to take maybe one of the receivers and slide him across the formation. They're going to fake that, and then Fleetwood's going to try and hit him on a pass because they've been setting something up with that. And we saw earlier that Fleetwood had that long run.
Fleetwood tonight completing 50% of his passes for 84 yards. No touchdowns, but no interceptions either. Second and 7 now. Fleetwood over the middle has a man, Fred Ward, and Ward has a first down up to the 46-yard line. Tackle made by Peter Miller. Gain was 8, and the numbers now through 3. 227 net yards for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Look at the difference in rushing yards. Ottawa 126 to Saskatchewan 75. And penalties, both teams have been penalized 10 times, and Ottawa is the 2nd most penalized team in the Canadian Football League this year.
And turnovers right now not playing a big factor. They happened early in the 1st quarter.
Fleetwood back again, and one hops it, looking over there to Horace Brooks. Albert Brown was up to make the stop, and Horace Brooks made the catch.
Those are the ones that kill you when you're a quarterback. You drop him back, you've got Brooks wide open, and you one hop it to him. Just kind of shake your head.
13:31 to play as we're just underway now in the 4th quarter of the football game. The crowd hanging in with the slickers on for a night that's seen a little bit of everything weather-wise. A slow start offensively, but both teams got into a groove, and we should see a good finish here in the 4th quarter. Fleetwood looks off the first receiver, has 2 in the area, and gets it down there to Fred Ward, who had 3 people around him, and somehow Ward made the catch. Joseph was down there. Glenn Suter was down there. Peter Miller was down there, but Fleetwood just dropped it into the well. And on his way down the field, Fleetwood stops in to talk to Adam Rita.
This is usually a broken play. You see Joe Campbell, the running back, almost looked like a little bit of interference there on Dale Joseph. Looked like Campbell went down and hit him before the ball was caught.
And Joseph is the injured player on the far sideline as Ray Yock looks on intently. 13:08 to play here in the 4th quarter. We'll take a timeout and return with Saskatchewan leading Ottawa 21-19. Back at Taylor Field in Regina, where Dale Joseph is receiving some medical attention on the far side of the field. His Saskatchewan Roughriders lead Ottawa 21-19 with 13:08 to play in the 4th quarter. Both these teams suffered blowout losses last week. We mentioned earlier that Adam Rita had said that after a blowout loss to BC earlier this year. He didn't show his team the film. He did show them the film after the loss to Winnipeg, 46-1, but because he said, we thought we did some good things. Now there's an optimist, a guy who can take something positive out of a 46-1 loss.
Well, I think that's the kind of individual that Adam Reedy is. You know, he feels that you don't really learn a lot by being negative, that you try to be positive, especially with a young team. And as you said earlier in the broadcast score, this is a team that's trying to build for the future. And you don't do that by trying to destroy people, by trying to get in the film session and be negative on them. You do it by trying to build confidence in a younger football team.
There's a two-time Coach of the Year who wins it every 10 years, 1970, 1980. Grey Cup champion with the Edmonton Eskimos, an outstanding coach with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers.
Well, he's hoping it's not the year 2000 because he only has a 5-year contract.
Right. Ray Yach was a pretty good football player in his day. I talked to some guys who played against him. His trademark was he used to let out like a war whoop before he went into the line of scrimmage. He was injured in the 1961 Grey Cup game, tore his Achilles tendon, then suffered terrible knee problems that have really plagued him throughout his coaching career. The story of this game brought to you by Dodge Trucks, reinventing the truck. The Riders were down 6-0 in the first quarter, but have come back since then as Terrence Jones replaced Tom Burgess, who had a tough time. Warren Jones taking over for Tom Burgess, who was 0 for 5 with an interception, and Ray Elgard has 8 receptions for 92 yards and a touchdown. Terrence Jones, by the way, having his problems in Shreveport, where the Pirates are still seeking their first victory of the season. So Dale Joseph slowly making his way off the field, and it's a first down at the Saskatchewan 27-yard line after that big pickup by Fred Ward. Joseph putting some weight on the leg, so we'll get a report and see what's wrong. So after a long break, Markel Fleetwood and the offense have 1st and 10 at the Saskatchewan 27. And a chance to retake the lead with under 13 minutes to play in the fourth quarter. That big line set. Here comes Sally Rand again. Fleetwood looking deep to the end zone to Brooks. Picked off by Glenn Suter, the safety. Glenn Suter hustled over. Brooks was open for a second, and Suter took it right away from him. Second interception of the season for Glenn Suter. And the Fun Bunch celebrating in the end zone.
Having a lot of fun. It's nice to see. Yeah, we talked earlier about how they might fake this and then bring Fleetwood outside and try to throw the ball. He's looking at Horace Brooks downfield, but Glenn Suter's been in this league 11 years. He knows how to play safety, and it's exactly how you play it. You come across, you step in front, and you pick off the pass.
Great catch.
He looked like the receiver.
He wears those glass cutter gloves as well. You can see them there, the brown gloves that glass cutters use to pick up glass. Ray Elgard and Jeff Fairholm started that here in Saskatchewan. So it's a first down for Saskatchewan from its own 25, and again Ottawa's turned away. And time count violation against Saskatchewan as Jones and the offense were too late putting the ball into play. Don't need that. Brings up a 1st and 15.
And you can see Warren Jones wears a glove on his left hand. He's got a little bit of tackiness in there, and that will help him when he's trying to hold on to the ball, but he does not have one on his throwing hand.
A Michael Jackson tribute.
It's not sequin.
Jones back to throw with the ungloved hand as Larry Thompson, who runs back, now gets going ahead, and Thompson has the first down up to the 40-yard line. Gain of 20 yards for Larry Thompson, who caught his first touchdown as a Saskatchewan Roughrider last week against Calgary.
Warren Jones catches them in zone coverage. Patrick Burke way off inside, and then Larry Thompson makes a catch, spins it upfield, dodges a couple of tackles.
First down, Saskatchewan from its own 40 to the ground. Mike Saunders outside. Saunders close to the first down up to the 48-yard line. Tackle made by Corey Dowden, a gain of 8 for Mike Saunders. And Saunders has run the ball well tonight, Jamie.
Sorry, Gray, that's the kind of situation Saskatchewan want to get themselves in right now at this point in the football game. They want to control the football, keep it away from Ottawa, and find themselves in second and short situations. Takes a lot of pressure off of Warren Jones when they're second and short.
And what the Western Riders would love here would be a nice time-consuming drive.
Exactly.
Back they go to Saunders. Initially stopped, but he fought back to get the first down as he fights his way to the 51. David Benefield on the stop.
Mike Saunders shows you that he really does have nice, quick feet, makes nice lateral movements. David Benefield, coming in the rush, comes down the line of scrimmage, shows some great athleticism at jumping over the pile, makes the tackle.
So it's a first down for Saskatchewan from its own 51. The drive continues. And Jones from the shotgun. Quickly over the middle, has a man. It's Don Narcisse, another sliding catch, and goes to another Saskatchewan first down. And watch out for the Colonel.
Might end up in a bucket of fried chicken.
I don't like those mascots much, pal.
Don Narcisse, clear up underneath. That's very tough to play man coverage that way. You get picked off sometimes. Patrick Burke trying to follow Don Narcisse, and a quick slant in.
And Narcisse slides a yard short of the first down. 2nd and 1. Over the top here, Jamie. No, they keep it on the ground. It's Saunders who has the first down easily.
And that's a smart move. Just continue to go off tackle, getting yourself in 2nd and short situations. Take time off of that clock.
Benefield in on the stop, and the clock continues to run under 9:45 to play now in the 4th quarter.
I think Pat Perlis, the offensive line coach for Saskatchewan, has to be very pleased at how his front five have played this evening. They've kept people off of Warren Jones. He's been able to throw the ball effectively.
You know, there's one thing the coaches talk about in the CFL. There's 2 seasons. There's the one before Labor Day and the one after. And one thing that the Saskatchewan coaches believe is that they play good cold weather football. Ball possession, run the ball a lot, short passes. They feel they might have a good year in the second half. Now here's Jones going for Elgard, who slides and no catch. Elgard was on the ground when the ball got there, and he thought he'd made the grab. So the slick turf here in Taylor Field claims a hometown victim.
What's very impressive again about Warren Jones is his ability to read. He finds the open receiver. The other 2 people were covered. And you can see that that's right. A good call by the official. Ball bounces. Warren Jones watches his pass. Oh, no. Inches away.
7th play of the drive at the Ottawa 47-yard line. 2nd and 10. Not much of a pass rush. He's got a man open. Saunders, a man in his face, flags everywhere. Linebacker Alfred Smith was there, along with the safety Andrew Thomas, but neither was facing the play, and that's usually when pass interference is called.
No question. He stuck his hands up as well. That's face guarding all the way, and that's a proper call.
Well, Saunders got downfield in a hurry to catch that pass.
Mike Saunders, they put him out as a slot. Now he runs right down the field against man coverage from Alfred Smith. And you can see that's face guarding all the way.
He got his hands up at about the 30-yard line.
And you know what he does? He's looking right into the receiver's eyes, and his eyes get as big as saucers, and he knows the ball's coming.
So the penalty is a gain of 29 yards for Saskatchewan. Down to the Ottawa 18-yard line.
He looks fired up right now.
And Saskatchewan's doing a job on the clock, too, under 8:40. Jones steps back quickly, looking for Thompson in the corner of the end zone. Incomplete. Andre Francis with him step for step.
Pass into the end zone intended for Thompson. Incomplete. 2nd down on the 18.
Lots coming up on TSN this weekend, including the Canadian Pacing Derby tomorrow night from Woodbine Racetrack in Toronto. Comes your way at 10 o'clock Eastern Time, 7 o'clock Pacific here on TSN. Start of a busy harness racing schedule this fall. And we'll have horses at the Royal Winter Fair later on. All kinds of equine activity. 2nd and 10 from the 18-yard line. Jones, low snap to the shotgun, has time, looking to the end zone. Saunders, touchdown! Mike Saunders, his 2nd touchdown of the football game. And he got high-fived by a bird in the end zone. Mike Saunders having some kind of night, and Saskatchewan does it all. Takes time off the clock, drives the ball, and most importantly, puts it in the end zone.
Well, Saskatchewan again line up in that same formation that they did earlier. They threw the ball to Mike Saunders, and they get the kind of coverage they want. They have Alfred Smith again, man on man. So Warren Jones is going all the way with Smith with his back to it. He can't see when the ball's coming. He tried to face guard again.
And Warren Jones is having a pretty good night. Now 14 of 27.
And a great shot on the chicken.
I hate those things.
28, Ottawa 19.
Oh, well, I guess if you're going to have one, you might as well have the chicken. Go big or go home, they say, and Mike Saunders will stick around for a while. His team is now leading by 9. Turnovers often play a part, and after the Glenn Suter interception, Warren Jones drives his team down the field. 2 touchdowns for Saskatchewan off a pair of Ottawa turnovers, and the drive covers 85 yards, 9 plays, and look at the time it took off the clock, 4 minutes and 43 seconds. So the clock now down to 7:50, and Ottawa is 2 possessions away from taking the lead.
Yeah, a 9-point lead is very, very big right now because they have to score twice, of course. 2-point conversion won't do it for them on a touchdown.
Talking about the interference call that set up the touchdown. Here's Patrick Burke on the kickoff return. Hurdles over one man, but can't get by the second. Dan Farthing down to help make the stop on kickoff coverage.
That's a very dangerous way to try and avoid a tackler jumping up in the air. Leaves you very vulnerable to a lot of defenders. And now Markel Fleetwood back to work again. 9 of 18, 128 yards.
And there's an injured Saskatchewan Roughrider. This is not what they need to see. Peter Miller's had a pretty good night with a pair of sacks, and he is down on the ground. Remember already, they've got Ray Bernard out for at least a month with a broken bone in his foot. Dan Rashovich is playing tonight, but he's still got a hairline fracture in his leg. And so hopefully this isn't too serious to Peter Miller. Saskatchewan next week getting set for the big Labor Day weekend clash with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. And we were in Winnipeg the other night, and the Bombers were doing brisk sales to Winnipeg fans who often make the trip down the Trans-Canada. We'll have that game for you at 4 o'clock Eastern, 1 o'clock Pacific next week here on TSN, part of a big Labor Day weekend that'll see us go to Sacramento first, then on to Saskatchewan, and then we've got the second half of the home and home between Edmonton and Calgary. Always a great night at Commonwealth Stadium. Back to school night. They have about 55,000 in Commonwealth for that one, and they always get up to see Calgary play, and that's where Calgary's winning streak ended last season. Last year at this time, the Ottawa Roughriders were riding a 7-game losing streak. So no matter how things have gone for Adam Rita and company this year, it could be a lot worse. Well, we've got time out in the field. We'll take a timeout ourselves. 7:46 to play in the 4th quarter. The CFL Live continues in a moment.
Looking down the bench, and Peter Miller, who's sitting there, he doesn't look to be in too much discomfort, relatively speaking, but he should be back in, I would think, before too long. If this margin of victory holds up for the Saskatchewan Roughriders, they'll be 4-0 at home this year, 7:46 to go in the 4th quarter, and they'll be 33-16 here in the last 5 years on their home turf. So again, the home field advantage holds up, perhaps, for the Roughriders. The big challenge for them now is to win some games on the road, and they're going to get some opportunities with a home and home with Winnipeg coming up in the next 2 weeks.
And a win tonight would add to Ray Yock's totals, who's moving up on some pretty esteemed company. Eagle Keys and the professor, Frank Clare, of course, did most of his winning with these Ottawa Roughriders. 1st and 10 for Ottawa from its own 23-yard line. They give to Joe Campbell, who fights his way outside and gets nothing. He's jumping up to make the stop for Saskatchewan is linebacker Brooks Finlay.
And Gore, we talked about how Warren Jones wanted to get himself in situations where he's second and short. I'm sure Markel Fleetwood would like to be in the same situation, but he's been starting to face now second and long situations and having to come up with some big plays. Tough place to be, in the shadow of your own goal line with 7 minutes left and you're down by 9.
Fleetwood on 2nd and 11. Under pressure, gets away initially, dumps it off and completes it. How did he ever get that away to Nick Mazzoli? Ron Getz made the stop, but Mazzoli with a great catch, and how did Fleetwood ever get it off? A flag is down now at the sideline. Usually we're offside is the call. Unnecessary roughness is called. I believe they said
64. Could be 74. We'll have to wait and see if Dave Ewell's mic works, but I don't think it does. Rashovich is arguing, so it could be Dan Rashovich on the call. So whatever it is, it's a first down for Ottawa up to its own 53-yard line. And giving the Ottawa Roughriders some breathing room is not what Saskatchewan wanted to do in that situation.
You can't self-destruct in those kind of situations by taking foolish penalties.
Fleetwood's under pressure again, and Bobby Jurison sacks him. Bobby J on his 30th birthday gets the sack.
71, Bobby Jurison.
And Markel Fleetwood is slow getting to his feet.
Looks like he's favoring his right hand, his throwing hand, or his wrist. Fleetwood gets back. He's not going to force a turnover. Doesn't like what he sees. He's going to take the ball. But Jurison does a nice job of control. He gets as deep as the quarterback, keeps him in his downfield shoulder leverage, and then when the quarterback runs, he chases him and makes the tackle.
The gain of 3, make it 2nd and 7. Dumps it off to Campbell in the flat, and Campbell is wrapped up immediately. Nice tackle by Dan Rashovich to get out there and prevent Ottawa from getting a first down.
And we've seen some great tackles by Saskatchewan's defense tonight. They make sure they wrap up people. They don't just hit them and let them go. They leak Joe Campbell out of the backfield. Fleetwood just trying to get the ball to him outside. Hopefully he can get his shoulders turned up, but you can see the position that Rashovich has. Squares up, makes a great tackle. As he comes off, talks to Greg Marshall, the defensive line coach.
Heard the expression, though, if you need 8, why throw at 5? And that might have come into play there. Terry Baker trying to angle this to the sideline. This is Ulmer from the 15. Gets his way up to the 27-yard line before he's stopped by Mike Graybill. And now Ulmer will stay in the 5-receiver set for the Saskatchewan Roughriders as Warren Jones comes in with 5:27 to play now in the 4th quarter. And Warren Jones tonight 14 of 27 for 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. Second half, he's passed for 140 yards and 2 TDs.
And boy, those numbers right down there at the bottom, TDs and no interceptions. Ray Yock has to be very, very pleased with that.
I wonder now if Warren Jones wouldn't get the start for that big home game against Winnipeg here next weekend.
It'd be awful hard to keep him out of the lineup.
Back to the shotgun. He gives off this time to Mike Saunders, and Saunders running for daylight across the 40, still going. And finally brought down at the 44-yard line by Corey Dowd. Mike Saunders having a great night running the ball for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. A pickup of 14.
Corey Dowd.
And now 82 yards rushing on the night for Mike Saunders, who no doubt loved to get 100.
Mike Saunders does a nice job. The play was initially going to be starting to the left. The linebackers overreacted. Then he cuts it back. Corey Dowden basically saves a touchdown here for Ottawa.
14 carries for 82 yards for the big guy. Here's his 15th carry, looking to add to his total, which he'll do. First down and more across midfield into Ottawa territory at the 54-yard line. Again, Dowden on the stop. And Ray Yock will be a little slower getting down to that spot in the sidelines, but it's a gain of 13 yards for Mike Saunders.
And this has to be very pleased for. Take a look at the hole here that's going to run with Mike Saunders right here. It's going to cut it back over this side, and he's just going to bounce it outside. You just take a run at it. Nice job. Waits, patient, then he bursts it outside and gets his hips going up the field.
Moving in on 100 yards rushing now. Jones looking for Elgard. He's open. He's got it. Elgard down to the 20 to the 17-yard line. Great throw by Jones. And a great catch and run by Ray Elgard. And these two seem to have that chemistry going now.
They really do right now, Gore. That was the same play that Warren Jones threw just in the last series. That was a little bit short for Ray Elgard. This time he makes no mistake.
A 36-yard gain for Elgard.
One thing about Ray Elgard, he may not have the fastest wheels in the world, but this guy runs precise patterns and makes great catches. Nice job. Puts his hands out, stretches, tucks it away.
And the man they call Harley gives his team a first down at the 18-yard line. Jones back quickly to the sidelines to Narcisse and had a man all over him. And Andre Francis will no doubt be called for pass interference. And that's the second time in the last couple of drives that Ottawa has suffered a key pass interference call.
Don Narcisse has been well covered tonight, this time too well.
Too well, that's right. He's trying to play him inside, and then he does not. He puts the arms around him, then he lets him go, but the official's standing right there. You know, one thing about Warren Jones, he has a rocket.
And he's shown it so far tonight. We're at the 3-minute warning. Saskatchewan leading and threatening. We'll be back to Taylor Field right after this. First and goal from the 3 for the Saskatchewan Roughriders after the penalty. Here's Mike Saunders fighting his way to the goal line, lost the football. Mike Saunders lost the ball. There's a mad scramble for it. Alfred Smith's in there battling for it, and Saunders thinks he's got it. They're still fighting for it. And finally, Brett Young wrestled it away, but we'll see what the referee ruled.
Andrew Thomas hits his hat right on the ball, right there as he's going into the end zone, and the ball pops loose. And Mike Saunders, I think, got it back.
I think he was in a tie with Brett Young. And
it's tough. Depends on when the whistle blew, I guess.
And we've had a little bit of a fight on this play now as tempers flare, and Jesse Small tries to restrain Brett Young, who thought he'd recovered that fumble.
Mike Saunders' fumble was recovered by Ottawa.
And it was recovered by Brett Young. It's Ottawa football at its own 1-yard line. So Saunders fumbles at the 1. Ottawa gets it back with 2:46 to play and 109 yards to go.
Great hit by Andrew Thomas. Just when it looks like Saunders is going to go into the end zone, makes a great hit, pops the ball loose, and then number 23, Brett Young, comes in here. Yeah, he does recover. That's a good call by the official.
So first down, Ottawa from its 1. First thing, get some breathing space. This is Joseph on the carry, and Darren Joseph has maybe a couple. But the clock will continue to run as soon as the ball is set in place.
And that's the thing, you know, breathing room, you've got 20 yards behind you. You're going to have to start to make some things happen because you're not just playing the Saskatchewan defense right now. You're playing that scoreboard clock.
And don't forget, they're 2 possessions down. Ottawa needs the ball twice to win the football game.
That's right.
Markel Fleetwood has not used the shotgun much tonight. And you'd think this would be a situation where he would. Now he's right behind the goalpost. Looking over the top and way over the head of the intended receiver, Andrew Murray.
And a nice job by Bobby Jurison, number 71, made sure that he kept his feet. Forced Fleetwood to pull up and throw the ball when he didn't really want to.
And big Bobby Jurison comes off the field. 9th-year player out of Northern Michigan. Saskatchewan's all-time sack leader. And into the end zone goes Terry Baker with his team down by 9. Did you give up the safety here?
No.
Why not go for it?
Because a converted field goal. There's still plenty of time, 2 minutes and 20 seconds left. But you've got to hold him.
So Baker gets it away. Not a bad kick to Ulmer at the 48-yard line. Now Ulmer looking to get some momentum, and he does. Still going. The 30. And down to the 25. Not what Ottawa wanted. Patrick Burke makes the stop, but that's before the 43-yard punt is returned 23. And Terrell Ulmer gets the Jack of all trades awards tonight. He has done everything for this football team.
Shows you what kind of an athlete Terrell Ulmer is out of Southern Mississippi.
He was just in as the 7th defensive back. He returns the punt, stays in as a receiver. So now with 2:07 to go, Saskatchewan can put a bow on the football team and win its 7th consecutive home game over the Ottawa Roughriders and run its record to 4-0 at home this season. Here's Warren Jones with room to run. First down and more. Jones still going. Now finally dives for cover as a convoy of frustrated Ottawa Roughriders was bearing in on him. Pickup of 16 yards.
First down.
Ottawa trying to play some games up front. They run a stunt and they get caught in it. I don't honestly think that Warren Jones was going to throw the ball here at all. I think this was going to be run all the way because it'd be foolish right now. You control the football. Why would you want to throw it, force an incompletion, and stop the clock? They want to just let the clock continue to run down.
And down now to 1:45 and counting. And nothing Adam Rita can do, really. To give
to Saunders, who fumbled the ball a moment ago. This time he'll hang on for dear life, gets down inside the 10 to about the 9.
Saunders wraps it up with both hands, knowing he doesn't want to give a turnover again.
The gain is 3, and Saunders now 2 yards short of 100 on the night. He has not had a 100-yard rushing game this season. So it brings up a 2nd and 7 just inside the 10-yard line. Saskatchewan can't get a first down without scoring. And the clock rolling at 1:20 and counting. Pocket over the middle, tipped, and did Ulmer make the catch? Yes, he did. The ball was tipped at the line. It went end over end to Ulmer, who makes the grab down to the 2-yard line.
He's close to a first down.
Unbelievable. That's the second time we've seen that this week. They're making bank shots off linemen's hands now. That's a little different.
Well, you almost think that if he had got everything behind it, it wouldn't have been complete, because the ball gets tipped at the line and it ends up right in his hands. Looks like they're a little bit short.
Just inches short. They won't mind that. 1:08 to play. They'll take all the time off the clock they can. Well, it's a night that saw Saskatchewan rediscover its running game. Perhaps rediscover a new starting quarterback. See some good things from the defense. All in all, Saskatchewan fans go home happy, as they always do. It's when their team goes on the road that they're not too happy. 3rd and very short. Straight ahead they go. It'll be a first down, but not a touchdown.
Well, Ray Yawk would have to be very pleased tonight, Gord, on how his offensive line and especially the running game has really come together for them. They were dead last in the CFL in rushing per game, only 80 yards they were averaging.
So now it'll be 1st and goal just outside the 1-yard line. Saunders in the backfield. Needs probably a yard for 100 and for a touchdown. Here comes Saunders. 2nd effort, touchdown. That should be 100. His 3rd touchdown of the game as well. Mike Saunders, a big night for Saskatchewan. So unofficially, Mike Saunders has 100 yards rushing, and officially, he has 3 touchdowns.
Mike Saunders does a nice job of tucking the ball, and he gets down very low, keeps his feet moving, and rolls into the end zone. Nice job. Takes a pretty good shot from Alfred Smith, number 49, but turns his body, doesn't give him a lot to hit.
Dave Ridgway for the convert. And now 35-19 for Saskatchewan over Ottawa. So Ottawa, better luck next year. The Eastern Riders haven't won here since 1987. And Jamie, it's hard to believe, once again, that this is the same team that has played so poorly on the road.
Yeah, it really is Jekyll and Hyde, as you were saying at the top of the broadcast. This is a different football team. They look more lethargic on the road when you see them play. They're looking very aggressive right now. Their offensive line, defensive line, getting off the ball. They have great confidence playing at home.
Well, we just checked with the official statistician here at Taylor Field. They've got Mike Saunders at 99.
That's when Mike Saunders goes in and looks at the game tape. They start adding it up. Absolutely.
Starts measuring. Wait a minute, that was a yard and a half.
Absolutely. Yeah, they'll double check that one.
That's the official numbers for Saunders. 18 for 99 yards and a touchdown. His receiving numbers show a pair of touchdowns. 18 catches. Sorry, 3 catches for 49 yards and 2 touchdowns. He's got 3 touchdowns overall. And Warren Jones has had a pretty good night taking over for Tom Burgess, and that'll be cause for discussion this week in Regina. They're not used to quarterbacking controversies here. You know, they had a guy who wore number 23 for a long time who just played the whole time.
And, you know, speaking of Ron Lancaster, he just became a grandfather for the 2nd time this week.
That's right.
And a granddaughter.
Kickoff rolls out of bounds. They'll be forced to do that again.
Well, I don't think, you know, a few years back, Gord of Florida had a quarterback named John Reeves, and he was 1 completion short of setting an all-time NCAA record. and there is no time left, so they kicked the ball off. They let the other team return it for a touchdown so they could get their offense back out on the field again, and he could get that completion. I don't think you're going to let Saskatchewan do that with Ottawa, so Mike Saunders can get his 1 yard.
Yeah, I think points for and against a little more important than
I
giving
think so.
Mike Saunders 1 yard rushing right now.
That's right.
I always like it when guys say, you know, before a game, stats don't mean anything to me, and then I always ask you during the game, what do I have? What do I have? How many yards do I
Absolutely,
have?
that's right. It's usually when they're winning, though, they're asking how many yards they have.
Here's Patrick Burke on the return from the 20. And Burke gets stacked up right at the 25-yard line. As jumping down to make the stop again was Brooks Findlay. So Markel Fleetwood had not a bad debut as a starting quarterback. In fact, I think if Adam Rita looks at this film, he'll see more encouraging signs than he did last week when his team got smacked around by Winnipeg.
As we talked earlier, Adam Reed is trying to build this team. He's going to have to do it with young players. He said they have the support of management and the owners.
And next week, Ottawa home to the Las Vegas Posse. That, I thought it'll be an annual Labor Day matchup. Ottawa and Vegas. Fleetwood had some time, and now Getz brings him down, but not before he gets it away and slips it off to Joseph. Darren Joseph, just as Markel Fleetwood was in the arms of Ron Getz, hauled in the pass.
And Darren Joseph came into this game with a 4.8-yard rushing average, had 230 yards, but didn't really carry the ball very much tonight.
He's actually been used a lot more as a pass receiver this season than as a running back. Fleetwood back to throw again. Well short of the intended target, Horace Brooks. The clock winds down to 10 seconds. And Taylor Field fans go home and say, man, from what I've seen this year, we're pretty good.
Well, it'll be a big test for Saskatchewan when they play Winnipeg back-to-back.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
That will be.
No matter who plays quarterback for the Bombers, you know that defense will be coming after whoever plays quarterback for Saskatchewan. Markel Fleetwood has probably seen enough. He'll just dive ahead here for the first down, and the clock will start to run down and let it go. 8 seconds to play now, and they'll place the ball and let Fleetwood run out the clock here as Saskatchewan comes back from 6-0 down to beat Ottawa 35-19. And Fleetwood dropped as the Saskatchewan defense, appropriately enough, gets a sack to end the football game. And Saskatchewan runs its record to 4-4 as Ray Yock's team is 4-0 at home, 0-4 on the road, and getting set to play the Winnipeg Blue Bombers on the Labor Day weekend. Adam Rita's team had some flashes, but not enough. And we'll try to put things back together at home next week against Las Vegas. Two old friends from the CFL, and this man will make things interesting in Regina. He directs the attack in place of Tom Burgess, and now Ray Yock has to decide who his starting quarterback will be next season. Saskatchewan wins at 35-19. We're back with more of the CFL Live right after this. Time now for the TSN Turning Point, brought to you by Armor All.
Midway through the fourth quarter with Ottawa trailing by 2 points, Markel Fleetwood tries to play action, tries to hit Horace Brooks deep in the end zone so Ottawa can take the lead, but Glenn Suter, the veteran, comes across and picks it off, snuffing out any chance for Ottawa to take the lead.
A cash donation will be made to the Coaching Association of Canada for the training and development amateur athletes on behalf of TSN and Armor All. New low-gloss Armor All Protected. Protects like original Armor All, but leaves a rich, deep, low-gloss finish. A big night for Warren Jones. He's standing by with Peter Watts.
All right, Gord, thank you. Warren, that was a great interception by Glenn Suter, but I think what followed was even as nice, and that was a tremendous drive that started deep in your own end of the field and went the distance for a touchdown.
Well, what we was thinking when Glenn got an interception when Yock was talking, we wanted to, establish a running game, that drive, and that was the drive that Mike Saunders came through for us in the offensive line. They did a heck of a job. I think that was key to that drive.
There's so much talk about the pass protection all week here in Regina. I thought tonight it was pretty good. I don't think you were sacked at all.
I don't think so. The big guys up front, they took care of business tonight, and I'm happy for them, and we have to build from this.
All right, congratulations. Good luck next week against Winnipeg.
All right, thank you.
Warren Jones, the winning quarterback for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. What about the numbers, guys?
Well, here's how they ended up, Peter. 27 first downs for the Saskatchewan Roughriders, and they rushed for 138 yards. They outran the best rushing team in the Canadian Football League, Jamie.
Well, I think it was a pretty impressive performance by Saskatchewan, especially the kind of support that they gave a younger quarterback in Warren Jones coming into this football game, especially for a team as well that only rushed 80 yards average this season. I mean, they show they can really run the football with anybody.
Well, Mike Saunders came up a buck short, so to speak, 99 yards rushing. The final total, he's with Peter Watts.
99 yards rushing, 49 yards as a receiver, and 3 touchdowns. What a good job. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
I was so pleased to see Warren call your number for the third one there after you got down so close the last time and dropped the ball or had it come out of your hands on the hit.
Yeah, you know, that was unfortunate. It was just lack of concentration on my part. But, you know, Warren, I give Warren a lot of credit. You know, he came back and he didn't give up on the run, and, you know, we were able to get it in.
Why has this team struggled to run the ball effectively this year, and why were you able to do it more effectively this evening?
I don't know if it was the run necessarily itself as you know, both the rushing and the passing. You know, it wasn't, you know, I don't give the credit or give the blame to any one guy. You know, we win or we lose as a team, and we play well as an offense or we don't. And, you know, tonight the line just came out and blocked well the whole game, all 4 quarters, and they just wore them down.
For whatever reason, this team seems to be playing very well when Warren Jones is in there at quarterback. It's not your place to start a controversy, but clearly the team seems to be going good when he's calling the signals.
I don't know if that's necessarily the whole truth. You know, I think we've proven that we're so slow starter. And, you know, of course, you know, whether you put it on the quarterback's shoulders, you put it on everybody's shoulders. We start slow and we build momentum, and I think we did it again tonight.
Well, 3 touchdowns and a great win. Good luck against Winnipeg next week.
Thank you very much.
Mike Saunders, the player of the game as far as I was concerned. More from Taylor Field after this. CFL Live on TSN has been brought to you by Pepsi, who remind you to be young, have fun, drink Pepsi. And by Mark's Work Warehouse, clothes that work. Tomorrow night, it's the Baltimore CFLers and the Hamilton Ticats, 7 o'clock Eastern, 4 o'clock on the West Coast. John Wells, Lee Pedersen, and Paul Romanuk will be with you from Iverwin Stadium in Hamilton. Our final, Saskatchewan, with 2 late touchdowns, beats the Ottawa Roughriders 35-19. Saskatchewan now sole possession of